Welcome, everyone. You are watching Shank Club NFL. It's Super Wildcard weekend. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Jeff Reinbold's in the house, hasn't got very long, so we are going straight into it. Pete, let's do this. Welcome. We are the Shank Club NFL. There you go. It's wild card weekend, and I don't believe it. I've got Coach Mike Tomlin with us today. I don't know how I've managed to secure this because I didn't know. Coach, we got about 2 minutes, so get on with your blurb, read your playbook. Let's get Jeff on. Let's do this.
Bring him on. It's wildcard weekend and we're ready. Woo! Let's go Steelers. Jeff, how are you going?
I'm going good. Not as good as you, though. You look like you've been going all day.
I'm excited.
Hey, it's the playoffs, and it's Saturday, and it's Shank Club. It can't get better than that, can it?
Doesn't get any better than that. No.
Well, apart from you on Sky, Jeff, definitely not. Right, we've only got you for a few minutes. We're going to hit you with the games. I want your picks. Indianapolis versus Bills. Choose.
I like the Bills. I think the Bills have too much firepower. They're the hottest team in football right now. Rock Ya-Sin is out the corner for Indianapolis. They don't travel. Normally, they don't travel Xavier Woods around. So I really think that the Colts don't have the ability to match up against all those receivers. I think Beasley's probably going to be out, but that's again, they just find another guy to throw in there. And if they can, the only chance I think Indianapolis has, they got to run the football and they got to play zone on defense, because when you look at Josh Allen's success rate against man, it's amazing. I mean, he's like 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and it's about 11-8 against zone. So I really think that's what Eberflus will do. They'll play zone, make them work every step of the way down the field, to get scores. But Indianapolis can't get behind because they do not want to get in the shootout.
Okay, one more quick question on this game. Is Rivers coming back to Indianapolis next year, yes or no?
I don't know. That's really, I think, a tough one. A lot's going to depend on if Phillip wants to come back and who's available, who's out there. You don't get rid of your quarterback until you know you got a better one. So it's going to be a real interesting year with the quarterback carousel this offseason.
Certainly is. Rams versus the Seahawks, Jeff. Who have you got?
This is the one I'm looking forward today to the most, because I've watched the chess match between these two coaches in the two previous games that they played, and the Rams I thought did a great job in the first game of playing defense and really limiting Russell Wilson. Russell struggled with the Rams, but in the first game in particular, they had him really, really confused and took away the deep ball, took away Metcalf. And it wasn't just Jalen Ramsey trailing Metcalf. It was a lot of nice things they were doing in the secondary. And then I thought Kenny Norton and the Seahawks did a much better job in the second game of making the Rams one-dimensional. And as soon as they did that, as soon as they put it all on Goff, then it was over, because he just did not play very well. Then he busted his hand up. I kind of think, to be honest with you guys, I really think that the young kid out of Wake Forest has a chance to give that offense a little bit of life. John Wolford went into the game last week, rushed for 58 yards. He was their leading rusher, threw for over 250. That's the first time that's ever been done in a guy making his debut in the NFL. And he's not afraid to take off with the ball. I'm going to show the fans on the telestration tonight about how the Seahawks actually let Goff out on the perimeter, and he'd be running on the perimeter, and they would be running away from him, trying to force him to run the football. And, If they do that with Wolford will take those. He'll get those first downs. And they did a couple nice things with some engineered runs for him against Arizona.
Nick, you're still on mute, buddy.
Yeah, it's all right.
Is that Nick?
I've got a dodgy. Yes, I've got a dodgy keyboard and now I've got a dodgy mouse as well. Yeah, I'm interested to see if John Wolford plays. I think they have a better chance of winning with him than they do with Goff, broken thumb or not. Bucks, are they going to breeze past the Washington football team? What do you think, Jeff?
I don't think it's going to be a breeze because those 5 first-rounders that Washington could trot out at you can get after every quarterback. And remember, guys, if we go back in history, when you see Tom Brady pressured, when he's off his spot, he doesn't have to be sacked. But if he's hit and hurried and off his spot and uncomfortable, he becomes a mere mortal. And you look at the games that he has lost this year, and all of them were games where he was sacked over 3 times in the game. So I think it's going to, for Washington to have a chance, that defensive line has got to play really well, particularly the 2 inside guys. The vertical pressure is what Tom doesn't like the most. And so they need to get that vertical pressure, and then Chase Young and Montez Sweat and Ryan Kerrigan can hunt him off the corner. I think Washington will play well in this game. I just don't know if Washington has enough firepower, and if the Bucks are able to jump on them early and get a couple scores on them, then it's going to be really, really tough for Washington because they can dictate the Bucks can dictate the terms of the game, and that's not what Washington wants. Washington wants it to be a slugfest, a slow down game, real physical, run the ball game. But again, you're talking about a Bucks defense that's pretty doggone good. So I'm going to take the Bucks in this one, but I think Ron Rivera should win Coach of the Year because I think he's done an outstanding job.
Definitely. It's one. Yeah, exactly. And it's one thing, obviously, we don't know who's going to start for the Washington football team, and they might hang for a couple of quarters, but if that defense gets weighed down pretty quickly, then we all know what could happen. Ravens, Titans, Jeff, who you got?
Well, I tell you what everybody ought to get is a head protector, a chest protector, shin guards, because this game might get so physical it comes right through the TV set. These 2 teams are old school, run the football, pound it up inside teams. Now, I give the Ravens the edge because I think the Ravens are a more complete football team. I think Tennessee can throw the ball better than the Ravens can. I think they're both kind of a push when it comes to running the ball. But I think the Ravens have better special teams and better defense than Tennessee does. But I think this game's going to be a really close, physical, knockdown, drag-out game. For Tennessee, they need to be able to stay within 1 score so that they can feature Henry all the way through the game. If they get down a couple scores, which Baltimore has the ability to do to you because they can make big plays in the running game and the passing game, then it's going to be tough on Tennessee because it'll make them one-dimensional. If they have the ability to control the line of scrimmage, just continue to pound Henry at them, and then take their shots when they get single coverage outside, I think they've got a chance to win this game. But I'm going to take Baltimore in a very close game.
Lamar gets his first playoff win. Yeah.
I think that's really an interesting one because, he came out this week, Pete, and he said, we've got to change the narrative, or I've got to change the narrative about not being able to win in the playoffs. So I think this would be a breakthrough game for him. And if that's the case, and he goes into the second round with confidence, Baltimore is not a team you want to play.
That's the scary team. That's the hot team going into the playoffs that no one wants to face. Last year they were favourites. This year they're going in hot. I'm scared of the Ravens.
Well,
you aren't getting past the wild card, Pete. Don't worry about it. Bears versus the Saints, Jeff. Who you got?
Well, I think this is, again, a game that the odds makers are saying it's a 10-point spread. I don't know because, when David Montgomery came back for the Bears entire offense changed. And I'm going to show the fans why that is. That kid is a dynamic running back out of Iowa State. He's tough. He's physical. He kind of sets the tone for their football team. And when he's going, they get better fast. They've scored over 30 points, I think, 4 of the last 5 weekends with him. He is a absolute key to everything they do. Not only being a 1,000-yard rusher, he caught 54 passes out of the backfield. When he's going, then you can see the stuff that Trubisky can do. The boots, the nakeds, the shot plays outside to, their big receivers, Allen Robinson particularly. Now, if he can't get going or they get behind a couple scores early and they lose the balance in their offense, this game will be a blowout. But I think the Bears defense, they've got to play. They've got a reputation for being a great defense. Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks and, Trevathan, they got some players now. But those guys are going to have to play. They're going to have to get a turnover too. I think that the return game, particularly the kickoff return game with Cordell Patterson, is a big, big part of this game. If he can get them, a big return, get them a short field, I think those are the key things for them. I think the Bears will come down to New Orleans, play free, play loose, and just, much like Indianapolis should do in Buffalo. There's no pressure on them. The pressure's all on the home team. So I would think that the Bears will make this close. I think the Saints will win, but I think the Bears will make it close.
Yeah, it's going to be another. I mean, all of these games potentially have got fireworks written all over them.
It's the playoffs.
Last but not least, Jeff, before you leave us, Pete, aka Coach Mike Tomlin, versus the Browns. Now,
all right. First of all, I got to
for it.
This is a really okay. I got one thing. He's got some detail in his outfit because he's got the crucifix on outside of his long sleeve, which is good. He's got the bank robber mask, which is good. He's got the sunglasses, got the hat, like it all. But I don't understand the play sheet because I don't know if I've ever seen Mike Tomlin have a play sheet in his hand. So
Pete.
But I like the look. I really like the look. He's doing a good job with this. Now he can give us a pregame speech, which that's one of Tomlin's strengths. So I hate to miss it, but record it for me so I can play it back, will you?
I was just trying to sort of confuse, all the sort of Cleveland players to, try and trick them with some of these new plays that we're conjuring up, Coach, for the Browns tomorrow night.
Well, I think the plays they need to conjure up tonight are the, again, push the ball a little bit vertically like we saw in the second half against Indianapolis. Don't just throw everything underneath.
Yeah.
Your offensive line is as healthy as it's been probably all season. Don't get away from the run. If John Connor runs it twice and gains 4 yards, stay with it. Stay with the screen game. I think the screen game to him is really important for them. And try and get Claypool matched up one-on-one every chance you get because he's one of those guys that can go up. There are no 50-50 balls when Chase Claypool goes after ball. It's an 80-20 ball for him. So I think those are the key things for him especially against those smaller Cleveland corners. For the Steelers, they should be ready to go because, I thought they played well last week with a bunch of backups playing. They rested their stars. Ben's had a week off. TJ Watt's had a week off. Joe Hayden's had a week off. I think that they should come out and really play well in this game. I think it'll be inside of a 10-point game, but I do think the Steelers will win it. It's going to be interesting for me to watch how Baker Mayfield handles this stage, whether he's going to stay inside the offense and just play, or whether he's going to try and make every play. When he gets outside of himself, when he doesn't let the game come to him, that's when he gets into trouble. And I tell you what, I watched Keith Butler. I watched every game the Steelers played on defense this year and prepping for the game. I'm going to tell you, Keith Butler does some amazing things with pressure. He creates all kinds of different looks for the quarterback. all kinds of different looks for the offensive line. And they've got to stay. If they get behind on the chains, I'm talking about Cleveland, they're in trouble because that Steeler team will gang up on you. But if they can stay close and stay within, let their running backs do their thing, let Hooper do his thing, get Baker out on the perimeter, then I think they've got a chance. But Pittsburgh should win it by 8 in my mind.
Yeah, my boys are going to be ready, Jeff. And like you said, they're going to be fit. They're healthy. They've got a few tricks up their sleeve. TJ's back. He's going to be putting Baker under a lot of pressure. As Freddie just reminded me, the standard is the standard. And we're going to go and we're going to Heinz Field and we're going to keep on rolling, baby.
You know what? That's amazing you say that because I know that's the line that they use in Pittsburgh. A friend of mine is the offensive line coach in Pittsburgh, and I talked to him this week. And, you're measured in Pittsburgh by what you do in January, by playoff football. And you talk about the standard. That's what they've built over years and years and years in Pittsburgh. And as good a year as they've had, winning 12 games and being undefeated for a long time, if they don't do well in the postseason, it's not a good year in Pittsburgh. So I know the Steelers players understand the gravity of the moment.
Coach, just while I've got you on, just before you leave, can I ask one question regarding the Steelers?
Yep.
Obviously, last week, Mason Rudolph was playing, and it seemed like they completely changed the offense. There was no quick getting the ball out. There was a bit more intermediate passing, like you were saying, that they tried to sort of play a little bit more of the run game. Does this sort of show that we're protecting Ben and it's not the offensive line that we're protecting here?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. Ben doesn't manage the pocket as well as he did in previous years. Used to be he was so big and strong, he'd move just a little bit and guys couldn't get him with one arm. They couldn't get him down with one hand. Now he doesn't take those hits as much as he did in the past, which happens to all quarterbacks. So I think it's a combination of both things, but they've got to know they're not going to beat Cleveland throwing slants. They've got to get the ball pushed down the field. And they've got guys that can go down the field and get it.
Yeah.
It's just they got to be able to protect him and give Ben an opportunity to operate.
Great stuff. Thank you, Coach.
Awesome.
Guys,
Jeff,
every Saturday's a Shant Club Saturday to me, baby. So we'll see you guys again next week. Take care.
Thanks, Coach. Jeff, enjoy the weekend.
All right, man.
Take care. Enjoy the football, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. There you go, Coach Tomlin or George Michael or Freddie Mercury, however you want to slate it. Harrison, I've just got to send him an email, Pete. So because apparently he's not getting.
If there's been anybody waiting in the background, they can come in now because there's a couple of slots available now. Jeff's gone. So if you're due to come on the show and you haven't been able to, or it's been saying the room's too full, click the button. There's 2 live slots at the minute. I know Freddie's got to come back, but I know we're waiting for Harrison, and I believe Ivan's going to come on and join us as well. So we may have to possibly ditch someone
now.
Excellent.
All right. Well, let's see who we've got. Right. Let's see who we've got that we can do. So let's bring on for a little bit. Let's bring on. Oh, who's just joined? Hellhound's joined.
Ivan's in the house.
All right, let's bring on our fluffer. And if you don't know what a fluffer is, just Google what a fluffer is, and then you'll understand. He's got a beard. Yeah, exactly. We're going to bring on our fluffer, and we will bring on our Seahawks fan. So we are going to talk Rams Seahawks first. So let's get on the fluffer. Here he is, Carl. How are you?
What's up, Carl?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Happy New Year. I wasn't on last week, but Happy New Year to you two guys. Very excited for Wildcard weekend. Very excited.
It's been a while since you've been a spectator in it, though, Carl, right? So you're looking at it from a completely different perspective.
It was good fun last week. It was good fun watching it last week. So, yeah.
Good man.
And last but not least, let's bring on Andy, who has answered the call as a Seahawks fan, Niner fan, but I will be nice. I promise I won't call you the skins or anything. Yeah, there'll be no fighting. So, okay, so this is how we're going to do it. Andy, I want you to tell me why you think the Seahawks can win this game on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we haven't got, unfortunately, we couldn't get a Rams fan, but Carl did a preview show last night on his 2 feet in bounds, and he will then retort that, and then we're going to have a bit of a thing, and then we'll just go for a score prediction, and then we'll move on to the next game. So, Andy, the floor is yours. And Andy's frozen.
Well, where do I start?
Here we go. Sorry, Andy, go ahead.
Well, I think the main thing the Seahawks is we're as healthy as we've been all season, possibly for years and years. We're just about starting the game with our number one player at every starting position. It's amazing, really, when you think we're just entering the playoffs. Big thing in our favour as to why we should win the game. I did hear some of the talk before I came on, and it was a question of whether Wolford or Goff is going to play. And I agree with you. I'd be more scared as a Seahawks fan if Wolford plays because of the way he can use his feet. Goff, when he played against us a couple of weeks in the game that he broke his stomach, I thought he looked really poor. He looked really ponderous. Didn't quite look like he was, an NFL quarterback in that game. So I'd be happier facing Goff than Wolford, as funny as that sounds. But obviously, we've turned the defense around. We were offensively the first part of the season. We've really changed that around. Number one in the second half of the season in some defensive categories. Got offense is faring pretty well still. We should have enough to beat them.
Okay, cool. So, Carl, obviously you did your preview show. I think it was last night it aired. So, how did you see this game compared to obviously what everyone else thinks? What are your comments?
Well, going back through the last 2 games that Seattle and the LA Rams have actually played through the regular season, obviously the Rams winning 1 game and then Seattle turning around a 20-9 victory a few weeks back. This is actually going to be one of the more tricky games to try and predict and get right. For the Rams side of things, yes, we don't know the situation regarding of Jared Goff, if his thumb's healed and he's ready to go, or it's going to be John Wolford playing. But as Jeff Reinbold pointed out earlier on, that he can make those easy first down runs. And I think that will scare Seattle more than what to say with Jared Goff. Goff, for me, has always had a question mark over him, even after Super Bowl 53. He's always had a question mark above him saying, is he the quarterback that's going to take him to the next level? We've seen over the last couple of years, and I don't personally believe he has got it in him. But their running attack, however, is quite dangerous. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown, they can all take the ball away, and they can all average 4 to 5 yards a carry. Seattle's run defense isn't that great to be in all honesty. And when you add the weapons on the passing side of things, so you've got Robert Woods, you've got Tyler Higbee, you've got Cooper Kupp, you've got those weapons also to throw to as well. The Rams can put points on you, but to me, the Rams, they're like a Jekyll and Hyde team. When they turn up, and they will bury you and put you in the ground. They play another game and they end up playing like they did against the Jets. Absolutely shambolic. I'm going to put it down to this. Seattle's defense has improved over to the back end of the season. And that's why I've got the Seahawks winning this by the skin of their teeth. Home field advantage it doesn't mean absolutely anything if you've got no fans in there. But I've got Seattle winning this by a field goal because I believe this will be one of the closest matchups this week.
I think this is one of the games where you've got to realise that it is the playoffs, and having a big-time QB makes all the difference when it comes down to this time of year. And like I say, even if it's Goff, whichever one's playing at the Rams, I just feel that Wilson knows how to get the job done. He's been there. He's done it before. And like you said there, Carl, I just kind of feel that the Seattle's defense improved. Their run game's improving. They're a more complete team. And I think it's going to be tough for the Rams, but it is going to be a close game, that's for sure. Nick.
Yeah, it depends it depends on, I'm guessing, how well Seattle run the ball, Andy, right? Because obviously they haven't really run the ball well this year. They have in fits and spurts, but if you're relying on Carlos Hyde, and Carson getting a few sprinkled in, that to me, and I'm not being a hater, being a Niner fan, that would be the concern. But if you can run it at Aaron Donald, that's where you take away their defense. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey is going to take care of and he's probably going to travel with Metcalf as well. So that's going to be an interesting setup. But how do you see this going out? What do you think the score's going to be?
Well, we don't do anything other than close games, it seems. So I agree it's going to be close. You have to say, 25 points for the Seahawks probably wins it. I can't go in more points than that. So, I don't know. The Seahawks, 24-21. Something like that. I don't think the Rams are going to score 21, but...
Well, who knows? I mean, if Goff's in there, you get in his face, you can't roll him out. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to certainly be interesting. Andy, thank you for your contribution. Don't be a stranger. Anytime you want to come on and talk Seahawks football, off-season, before the draft, after the draft, obviously, just let us know because we are going to be featuring all the teams. Andy, thank you very much for your contribution. We really appreciate it. Take care, brother. Enjoy the game and may the best team win.
Definitely.
Even though I don't want any of them to win, but enjoy it. Enjoy. There goes Andy, Seahawks fan. Carl, going to take you out again because hopefully now I can bring on Harrison from the UK Colts.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Harrison, you good?
Harrison, how you doing, brother?
Excellent, gents. How are we?
Doing good, mate.
Good. Long time no see.
Yeah, it has been a long time. And it's been a very good season to watch, entertaining. I'm enjoying that we've got Coach Mike Tomlin on. Pleasure. Nice to see you.
No worries, Harrison. It's nice to meet you.
It looks like Nick's been kicked out of the house and put into the shed.
Well, notice you still haven't changed your wallpaper after we ripped the piss out of you last time, Harrison. You still got that wallpaper there, mate.
Still got the money. And after this game, in a couple of hours, I'm still going to have the money.
Mind you, saying that, Pete, it also shows how long it's been since Harrison's watched our show because I've been out here for months. But that's another story.
You got kicked out a long time ago.
I did. Let's bring on Matt from the UK Bills. Let's just press that.
Hey, Matty.
Happy New Year, guys. And Harrison, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, Matt. It's like déjà vu.
Yeah, I know. It was only a couple of days ago.
It is. Matt, how's your knees, etc.? Because obviously I know you're going through a few issues. How are you feeling at the moment, man?
Well, the knee's still there. Still in its brace. I've got a hospital appointment on Tuesday to see if I need surgery or not. But an avulsion fracture of the spinal tibia is not a very nice thing, especially with stairs involved.
Easy for you to say.
Exactly, and you shouldn't. That's your problem. You see, if you'd have played American football, you wouldn't have got that injury. But you chose soccer.
Probably not. No.
It's also what happens when you get thrown through tables. That's what happens, man.
Well, yeah, there is. Yeah, in fact, that's probably what it was—a table injury.
Do I need to call the cops about that poorly dressed robber in the top right-hand corner?
Well,
the only robbery they've had this season is the fucking Bills making it into the playoffs and winning the AFC East. So watch it, son.
Hey, we totally beat you. It was easy, that game.
Well, like we said in your podcast, mate, yours is the game I was scared of, and you guys are looking fucking awesome at the minute. And There's not a lot you can say other than you're playing very well.
We even destroyed the 49ers as well.
Yeah, that's
that, to be honest,
everyone has
that was on the cards, mate. And even I was impressed with the Bills that day. But anyway, if we need a George Michael tune, we can obviously ask Pete because he looks more like George Michael than he does Mike Tomlin. But that's another story. Right, let's get into this playoff game. Harrison, give me your keys to victory for the Colts. What do you think you're going to do on both sides of the ball? Talk to us. What are you going to do?
This is, without a doubt, the toughest game for the Colts this year. Nobody's given us a chance. I think Vegas are giving Washington a better chance of them beating Tampa Bay than beating Bills. So we have to be perfect for a full game on both sides of the ball, whereas the Bills only have to be perfect for 2-3 quarters. We have to come out, we have to run hard with Jonathan Taylor, and we have to blitz a lot more than we usually do.
Cool. And what do you think you're going to do on the offense? Do you think your offense will keep up in a shootout, should there be one, or are you going to rely on the run game to open up play action, to open up Phillip Rivers in the passing game?
Can you really open up Phillip Rivers? I mean, time he's handed off the ball, it's 3 seconds later. We have to give it to Jonathan Taylor. We have to trust our O-line, because if it comes to a shootout, Phillip Rivers is going to throw about 4 interceptions. So,
are you really that concerned about Rivers?
I'm not concerned about Rivers when we have a comfortable time in the pocket, and in a normal season game, I'm not concerned about Rivers because I feel like we can beat any team. But this is a time of the year when every team you play in is a very good team, and we've seen it before with the Colts. When Rivers is up against it and has to throw, he just throws it to the other team for the fun of it.
Well, you say that, but you're talking more of Chargers, Phillip Rivers. You're not talking about Indianapolis, Phillip Rivers, to be honest. I think so anyway. Now, this is the best line he's worked with for probably 6 years, maybe. I don't know. And I know they came out in the second half against the Steelers and choked. But maybe that's more play calling and better defense than it was, obviously, Rivers laying an egg. I love this game, and I'm glad it's an early game. I'm glad it's not stuck out in the wilderness at 20-10 or 1:15 a.m. because
over 3 hours.
It's going to be. I think it is going to be a great game. Matt, what's your takes? Both sides of the balls. Now, obviously, I know last week they put it on Miami, and again, I love it when teams run up scores. I do. That's just the sadistic person in me, and I think they should run it up. I don't think you should stop at 30 and say, fuck it, we ain't going to do anything.
Yeah.
You fucking 60 points, whatever, doesn't matter. Just flex your muscles, get in the playoffs, and show people what you can do. So, Matt, what are your keys, both offense and defense, for this game?
Our key is just getting Josh Allen to be comfortable in what he does. I mean, our last few games, we've averaged 47 points per game and 357 passing yards per game. And we've got Diggs. He's actually recovered from his oblique injury, and we've got Beasley back. We've got our full complementary of wide receivers, and we know how good Josh is and how he should be rightly in the MVP conversation with Rodgers and Mahomes in there. I think on defense, really, what we've got to do is actually stop that run. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, he's an excellent rookie. He is definitely going to be a star in the NFL. That's for sure on there. But as I was discussing with Harrison actually on our podcast a couple of days ago, if we can stop that run, we just got to make Rivers start throwing it a little bit more. We've got to try and get Rivers really to try and go throw with Allen and actually try and suffocate that run game. If we can do that, then in my opinion, I think that's probably the main key on defense. And offense is just pretty much feed Diggs and get Beasley open underneath.
I can't believe
Is
he put up a
Beasley actually fit?
No, I don't think he's playing.
Sorry, Pete.
Yeah.
No, he's active for the game. If he plays, he plays, but he's actually active for the game.
Just going to
That's
say,
a
Nick.
big weapon in the slot. Big weapon.
Yeah. I mean,
Throwing up go on.
even without him, we've got Isaiah McKenzie, and he had a day and a half against Miami, and he's an even more adequate replacement for Beasley. And we've got Gabe Davis coming into his own, so we've got a wide receiver core that even if we miss one of them, we're good. We can still put up the numbers that we've put up, and obviously we've got returning John Brown as well, so that the offense just gets stronger and stronger. But it is going to be a really close game. I'm actually glad it's actually the 6 o'clock game. I think it's probably the best game this weekend. It's probably going to be the best game this weekend with two really good teams going up against each other, and obviously the Bills coming up on top, and then probably beating the Steelers for a second game in a row this season.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I was going to say, putting up 50 points against Miami, who, to be fair, their defense is great. Howard, probably one of the best corners in the league right now. It was just unbelievable. And I'm not going to kid anybody. You know, we'll talk about the Steelers game a little bit later on, and I do feel that we'll end up going through and probably playing the Bills. Sorry, Ivan, but I'm not expected to get past the Bills because you guys are looking like the Kansas City Chiefs last year. It just looked insane on offense, and it doesn't matter what the other team does. It just seems as though that you guys can just throw up numbers, and it's not going to be easy to catch up with you. So
I think
it's a nasty game plan to beat you.
I think since the Cardinals game, obviously we've gone on the run. We haven't lost a game. I don't think we've put up less than 25 points a game. And our last few games, we put up 50 points, 40 points, 30 points, all that. So we've got the arsenal. And as Harrison's mentioned previously on our show and on his show, I know I had one of my co-host Alex on his show. It's going to be an interesting battle between Diggs and Rhodes on the outside.
Yeah, for sure.
I love Stephon Diggs. He has been the game changer, I think, for your team this year, Matt. It's amazing, isn't it? Because like with Tampa Bay and Antonio Brown coming in, all the talk was you don't want Diggs. He's horrible in the dressing room. He's a cancer. He's this, he's that. But that dude has pulled out this year, and it's amazing. Right, final word, Harrison. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
That's all right.
Final word. It's going to be a close one. 27-24 Colts. Rodrigo Blankenship, 49-yard winning field goal. You heard it here first. The Colts go on to win the Super Bowl.
Someone's been on a Kool-Aid a little early, I think.
Let's go. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Matt, put more. He needs to put more water with it next time. I think if he thinks that's going to be, I don't know. What do you think, Matt? What's your score prediction?
I was just going to quickly go on about what you said, Nick, about Diggs and cancer. It's obviously what Dion Dawkins come out and said in his Tribune that Diggs has actually been more of a model professional. He stayed behind, helped Gabe Davis. He's helped. He stayed at meetings, made his voice heard, and being that vocal leader. And that's something that we couldn't get if we had took a first round draft wide receiver on there. But in the game, I think I went in my prediction. I think I went like 37-24, I believe. I don't think that the Colts can actually live with us if we actually do manage to halt their run offense. If we can stop Jonathan Taylor, I think it can just go one way and the score just rockets. Then we go in, beat Pittsburgh. I don't know, I'll probably say by a lot more than last time. take on the Chiefs and beat the Packers in the Super Bowl.
They're both
A lot
high.
of people,
They're both high.
Hey,
a lot of people
can't
got
hear
the
ya.
Packers going. Right, Matt. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you had to get upstairs and probably had to have the stand stair lift to get up there and sort all that out. Really
Got bucked
appreciate
on my
you,
way
Matt.
down now.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Matt. Hope you get better soon, buddy.
Thanks for coming on,
Thank you very
Matt.
much, guys.
Matt.
Take it easy.
Cheers. Harrison, if you want to stick around to do all the game picks later on, let me know. I'll put you in the background. If you want to stay on, please do. If not, then obviously, did you want to stay on and do the full game picks later?
I'll try and stay on, but I do have game day cooking to do. So I might.
No worries, mate. We'll take you out.
You enjoy it.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Harrison.
Awesome.
Enjoy the go, mate.
Take care.
3 hours
There
to
you
go.
There you go, Mike Tomlin. That's another game in the books.
Another
Right.
one done. So we did the last
Now.
Saturday game.
We are now going to do the Bucks
That's it, mate.
versus the
Bring on the boys.
football team. So hang on, I'll bring them up. So we've
Yeah.
got Sam, who
Yeah.
is representing the Bucks. And hang on,
you.
let me find him. Where is he? Where is he? He's here somewhere. Hang on.
I'll bring him on. There he is.
There he is. Andy, who is representing the Washington football team. Now,
What's happening,
I
boys?
don't know if Alex. Yeah, we're good. We're good, Sam. Andy, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Good to see you, Nick. Pete, how's it going? Nice costume, mate.
Thanks. This isn't a costume. I am Mike Tomlin.
No, you're
Sorry,
not.
mate. Sorry. I thought it was Halloween.
No, he's George. He's George Michael. We're getting to do
That's
"I'm
Halloween.
Your Man" or something like
That's
that.
Halloween right there. That's a scary
That's what another-
face
no.
every single day that I have to put up with. So that is proper horrific.
Always bringing the heat, Pete. Always bringing the heat. Sam, talk to me. What is going to happen in this game, both sides of the ball for you? Now, obviously, Tom Brady, he's brought a different dynamic to your team. He's 43, 40 touchdowns. Obviously, the weapons he's got on offense, quite a scary proposition. What do you think is going to happen in this game, both sides of the ball?
Well, yeah, you said it there. We've had a fantastic offense to watch this year. You know, I feel like we're up there as one of the most entertaining teams in the league. When you've got players like Godwin, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, all getting ball thrown to them by Tom Brady, you're gonna be a good team. And I mean, I'm confident we can put up our average score of 30 points tonight. The big one to watch for me is Devin White and Levante David. We've got to stop the silly plays that Washington seems to be so good at this year, the short passes or the easy runs that just they drag you down the field by 15 or 20 yards, and then next thing you know, they're in the red zone, and it takes one more play for them to get 7 points, you know? So for us, I think it's important that we get to whoever's starting at quarterback tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of talk coming out, maybe that is it Heineke comes in tonight, which actually for me is a negative, because we as a Tampa Bay fan, I know the principle of backup quarterbacks against us never tends to go well. So for me, I think we have to get at the Washington football team's face very early on. We have to let them know that we're coming here to win the game, and we're coming in to do it from the get-go. You know, I expect a lot of blitz and balls. I expect a lot of pressure on the outside. Really try and get our impactful players like Shaquille Barrett and JPP in the quarterback space, or stop that run game. But for me, it comes down to making sure that we do our job on offense, get the points we know what we can get, and making sure that we don't have that ever so common silly Tampa Bay mistake on defense where we just let somebody run it for 75 yards at a touchdown because of poor coverage. So for me, the key to the game is being sensible.
Are you not worried about this Washington front and the fact that Brady under pressure hasn't been that good if you get in his face?
Well, we've got to imagine that the O-line know this. And for me, Tristan Wirth, first round draft pick, has been phenomenal this year. You know, he's given up 1 sack all year. And look, these Washington football team, they've been good against a lot of teams, but this is a good O-line this year. This is one of the better O-lines we've had in the last years. And I feel like they can hold up tonight. So if you're going to ask me, am I worried? Well, there's always going to be a fear factor with playmakers like Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Jay Chung on the D-line. But I think we hold up. And look, you don't need to give Brady all the time in the world. You know, this is the GOAT we're talking about. So if we could give him them just enough seconds to get the ball out, we've got playmaking receivers, we've got big receivers, physical guys who can go and win them 50-50 balls if Tom has to throw a slightly more risky throw. So I feel that we'll be all right tonight. I feel like we can hold up, we can give him enough time, and we can let the receivers do their job.
Sam, Antonio Brown's starting to make some plays now as well, which is, I guess, good to see if you're a Tampa Bay fan. But, you know, I've always said the guy's a baller. Take who he is away, the guy can play ball, and all of a sudden he's making moves now, isn't he?
Well, yeah, exactly how you say it. You know, when you've got the players that we have, as I keep saying, you know, like as I said in the when I was talking to Andy yesterday, one of the most feared statements in the NFL in Week 17 must be Mike Evans has gone off injured and he's being replaced by Antonio Brown. Now that's just a ridiculous statement to make for any roster. Like you shouldn't have the name or caliber in receiver that we do. You know, you've got top 5 possibly in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and the way Antonio Brown's been playing these last weeks, he's in the top 10 conversation. It's a shame we couldn't have him for the whole season, especially in a couple of them Saints games where he didn't really turn up. But you know, we've got the caliber. I think obviously the bookies have got us at a 12-point handicap favourite. I think that's a little bit harsh because you can't rule out this Washington football team because everyone goes into the playoffs 0-0, you know, so you can't disregard anyone. But look, I think we've got enough to get the job done tonight, and I think we'll come out possibly maybe hitting that handicap range late in the game. But I feel like the first 3 quarters certainly up for grabs.
Yeah, I've learned my
One
lesson.
quick question. Sorry, Pete.
Don't sleep on Washington. I learned that lesson the hard way.
One quick question before we bring Andy in for you. Do you think this is the shit or bust season for Tampa Bay, bearing in mind all the stars they've got, who they've brought in, who they've brought back? I mean, TB12 is going to be there next year. We get all that. But, you know, Antonio Brown came in, has made an. Do you think this is your bit like the Niners last year with bringing in Emmanuel Sanders? Do you think this is a one and done thing for you, or is it the start of something good and you hope you keep all those players?
I think we're sort of the unspoken interested team of the NFL draft. Look, I'd love to think we could get a player like Zach Wilson's quality coming through, but where we're going to be picking, it's just not going to happen unless we most likely do what we like to do in drafting, give up too much for it. But look, it may be a one or bust year, maybe not. I can't say that. We've got some players coming back. We've still got Mike Evans. We're still going to have Rojo, who's had a good year. We're still going to have TB12. And you know, you get the players that we're keeping. We may not have everyone back next year, but we've still got enough to win games. You know, but it's certainly looking like if we want to make a serious claim for the Super Bowl in the next couple of years, this is the golden opportunity. You know, like when I looked at the matchup, and you could have offered me any of the 3 NFC East teams, I think I would have gone brave instead of want the football team. To be honest, maybe not. I'm not saying it's the easiest game, but I think it will make the most entertaining game. So I think, as much as I'd like to look forward to next year. There's no better.
It's going to be interesting. Definitely. Andy, stake your claim for my boy 11. If he plays, I hope he does play, because you know he's my boy number 11, and I'm never, ever going to root against him. How do you feel about this game?
I know, he's your boy. I don't know if he's going to play. I'm hearing this morning that he might not. It's going to be a game few hours before the game decision. I hope he plays. I think he gives us the best chance of winning. Whether he does or not, we looked last week against the Eagles. He could barely move, could he? You know what I mean? And if you can't move against this Tampa Bay defense, you're going to blitz you left, right, and center. So it's going to be 50-50, maybe not even that. I think we could see Mr. Heineken, however you say his name. I think you could see him come in the game quite early if we've seen quite early on that Alex Smith can't move. So it's going to be interesting. I think our defense are going to have to, we're going to have to find a way to move the ball on offense that we haven't found. But we've got weapons. We've got, Logan Thomas, amazing man is Terry McLaurin, the magic man himself. He can do anything. So we've got a great chance. I mean, people are sleeping on us. And like Coach Tomlin up there said, you don't want to sleep on this Washington football team because no one gave us a chance against the Steelers. We went in there against the undefeated Steelers. Another win for the Steelers. What happens? You can't sleep on this Washington football team. And like we've been saying for a long, long time now, why not? Why not us?
Andy, for me, I think
exactly. I mean, your defense,
the whole story of the season. It was a torrid off season going through with the owner, all the crap that was going on. Then Ron Rivera obviously sort of coming through, obviously getting known to have the sort of cancer. Alex Smith, what a story it was coming back from that. The team winning the NFC. I mean, for me, I think the Washington football team have been an absolute revelation this year. And I've really enjoyed everything you've done. And even if you go out to Tampa tonight, I think the Washington football team can really fucking hold their head up high this year because you should be proud of your team this year, brother. They've been really, really good.
Yeah. Mate, I couldn't be more prouder. If you look this time last season, we were done 1-3. Jay Gruden as, coach. Off the field, we were a shambles. You've only got to look how far we've come as an organisation to see what a great season it has been. And it has been for the Washington football team. No one expected us to be here. It's all well and good saying, you got out the East with a losing record. But the East is the East. It's been like that for a while now. So we all know that's like. But we went and won a division, we went on a winning streak of 4 games, which helped us massively. One of them was against your boys, as you know. And I agree with you. I think a lot of people are rooting for us, but I don't want them to root for us just because it's a good love story. I genuinely think we've got a chance to win this game tonight, and I genuinely think that we can do it.
That defense, definitely, if it gets in Brady's face, it's going to cause him problems. And another interesting matchup. I hope Alex Smith starts, even an immobile Alex Smith, because he doesn't run. He just needs to take a few steps here or there, rolling out. McLaurin, the run game. Again, this is the beauty of all of these games that we're reviewing. You can't really say, hand on heart, one team is going to absolutely piss it, which is great.
Yeah, you can.
Great.
The Steelers, Browns.
No, shut up, George Michael. I'm not talking to you. Sam, what is your...
Get back in your phone box.
What's your prediction? What's your prediction, Sam, for the score tonight?
I'm just going to jump on something that Coach Mike Tomlin said. I'm sure that he said he was going to walk all over the football team earlier this season as well, and that didn't go to plan. So I'd humble yourself before tomorrow. But for me, I think we've got that 30 points average this season. I think 31-17 Tampa. I think we run away with it in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
again,
I think it's a couple 2 touchdowns.
That's a very good point, actually, Andy. If this defense gets tired because of they run the ball, etc., and wear your guys down, that could be an issue. I think it's going to be very close in the first half, and I don't want to pick the second half. But Andy, what are you thinking?
23-21 Washington. I think our defense get to Brady more than people are thinking he is. That we're going to. I think we turn up. I think we shock everyone again. People have written us off all season. I think I was on one of your very first shows where someone told me that we might not win more than 3 games again. So, we're here. We're in with a shout. Don't sleep on, like you guys have said, don't sleep on this Washington team. Yes, our defense needs to ball out. If the playoffs, Tom Brady turns up, we are in trouble. We have to play well. I'm not gonna deny that. It's going to be a hard task. But I have so much faith in this young team. I just genuinely think Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, JD McKissick, whoever plays, I think we will put in a shift. And we can't go all Washington on ourselves. We can't. The only thing that we will struggle with is we do what we've done in previous games. If we go 2 or 3 scores down against Tom Brady and the Bucs, we've had it. It's game done. We ain't coming back. We're not doing what we did in Pittsburgh. We were down 17-3 at halftime, I think. Somehow come back. If we do that against Tom Brady in the playoffs and against their receiving core, that's when I think we'll struggle. But I don't think that will happen. I want us to be in the game by the fourth quarter, which I think we will be. And then I think it's going to be Washington. It's going to be heart attack football.
Great stuff.
Definitely. It's going to be a good game. Andy, thanks for joining us. If you want to, I know you got rid of your missus for a couple of hours. If you want to come back on when we do the whole scenario picks, stick around in the background. I know Sam's sticking around.
Okay,
Thanks,
buddy.
guys. We will
Fellas, enjoy
bring you
Wildcard
back.
weekend.
See you later, Sam.
Enjoy.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah.
Take care.
So there you go. Let's just take Sam out.
Nick, I'll tell you what,
Go.
mate. Scott's still waiting for his link. So why don't you just ping Scott a quick link? And while the people we've got in the background, I think if we rock up with the Saints game quickly, because there's going to be no one here to back the Bears. So if we bring Ash on from Dome Patrol UK, and
I'm just bringing him in now. There you go. And then
tell you what,
let me
we'll
bring the fluffer.
bring in the resident fluffer as well. All right, what are you doing?
Stop. Look, I'm pressing the
You said
buttons.
you ain't got the buttons
Let
for that.
me
Don't
do it.
mind that.
Bloody technology.
Right, there you go.
All right. Right. So let's get on to
Right, there we go.
on to Sunday's games. Right, Ash, nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for having me on. I'm glad to finally be on one of these.
That was me thinking that I was going to be wearing the only piece of jewellery today, and then I realised we've got a Saints fan coming on.
Yeah,
so obviously going to out bling me today.
It's on every game day.
Wow, that's
Proper bling.
Yeah,
That's
all the way
that.
through all.
Sure.
You know, we got the Super Bowl ring as well. Hopefully, the number 2 as well. So yeah, going all out.
It's looking good, and obviously we've got the resident fluffer Carl going to be. Basically, you are Claire the Bear for a couple of minutes, Carl, because Claire wanted to join us, but she hasn't been able to. But I know she's very much looking forward to the game. In fact, Nick, didn't she ask you to say something with regards to what she thinks is going to happen today?
Yeah,
Sorry,
she
what-
thinks the Bears. She thinks the Bears are going to win, and she's crossing everything, and hopefully. Sorry, I'm just reading a comment here from Dion. That's all I need to say on that, Dion. Yeah, she wanted to be on. Again, just very quickly before we move on, another troll hit me today about the giveaway for Claire the Bear that I did on Just Giving. Guys, just give it a miss, right? It's done. She's getting a laptop. Macmillan Cancer are getting a 3-figure sum as a donation from her, as her chosen charity. So let's just draw a line under it and carry on. Right, Pete, I'm sending that link.
Okay,
Lead
well,
off for me, mate.
let's talk ball. So I've got to be honest, Saints are still looking really, really strong, as they always are. They're always a playoff team. They're looking really good. Ash, tell us what you think is going to happen in this almighty clash between the Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints.
We faced them in week 8. So this is a rematch again of week 8. We barely just beat them in overtime. I'm hoping from the last 3 seasons, the way that we've gone out, with Minnesota, with LA Rams, and the way that we went out against the Vikings, I'm hoping that we just push all our chips to the table and we just steamroll them. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, like I said, we met them in week 8. We know what they are. We know, they know what we are gonna hold. Luckily enough, we hopefully will have Alvin Kamara back. We'll have Michael Thomas back. So basically, we're gonna have hopefully a full strength team facing the Bears in the Dome on Sunday.
Excellent. So the rumours are that Kamara is going to be back, is it? Because obviously that is going to be a big loss if he's not there. I mean, our males were like that when he was like running in 6 TDs the other week. So he's going to be a big miss. But by the sounds of it, he's going to be in the lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be in the lineup. Obviously, he can't train. He can't go to the practice facility because he's on the COVID list. But the wonderful thing about technology that you can streamline into the practices, you can get the reps, you can get the game plan ready. So hopefully, he'll hit the ground running because, he has been probably the best ever third round pick that any team has ever got. So, we didn't have him against the Panthers. We still beat the Panthers quite considerably in week 17 without him and without no Michael Thomas. So if he's playing, he's going to cause that Chicago Bears defense a lot of problems.
Yeah, and Emmanuel Sanders looking really good as well. I know it's a player that Nick's a big fan of. He's been looking really good lately, hasn't he, the last few weeks?
Yeah, when we signed Emmanuel Sanders from the Niners, I was jumping for joy, obviously, because we haven't got a credible number 2 wide receiver. Obviously, we had Tommy Lewis, we had Jaquan Smith, we had a couple of other players, but we didn't have a credible number 2 wide receiver. We went and got him from the Niners. Thanks, Nick. And but yeah, he's actually got into his stride and gone to his rhythm the last few weeks. He's balled out and he's played really well when Michael Thomas had not been on the field. So we have got strength and depth in this team, and yeah, I'm very hopeful for to beat the Bears and then go on to either face the Seahawks or the Rams.
One good thing about Emmanuel Sanders before we go on, he's not the fastest. He's got all the routes that you can run, and he's got great hands. And if he gets open, watch out. Yeah. I was very sad to see him leave because I think he was one of the main reasons why we got to the Super Bowl last year. He's a great player. I think this year it's win or bust for Breeze. I think if Breeze doesn't make it, I think this is his last year, possibly. And it will be interesting to see if they do move on with Taysom Hill or whoever they've got. Do you think your defense will get enough pressure on Trubisky, which really isn't? It's hard to say with the Bears because you don't know what Bears are going to turn up. If Mitch decides to be mobile, Mitch, and stretch his legs, you could be in trouble. The Bears defense hasn't been that great. It will be an interesting. What do you think that you could be in trouble if Mitch turns up that the 3rd or 4th pick in the draft overall a couple of years ago? Do you think you'd be in trouble, or are you quite confident?
Well, we lost Trey Hendrickson, in our defensive line, who has 13.5 picks this season, and he's just come out of he's come out of nowhere, and he even sacked Trubisky in week 8. So that is a big loss on in our defensive line. I reckon Cam Jordan will try and get away to get at Trubisky. Davenport needs to show out. We still got Demario Davis, who we know who's a ball hawk, who will go after the quarterback. It would have been helpful if we had Quan Alexander in there as well. So, and again, going to the Eagles game where Jalen Hurts, he run out to the outside and he hurt us bad. And when we played the Eagles, and the same as their running back, they can hurt us if the quarterback does go running. But knowing Peyton and his, the defensive coordinator, we can make sure that we keep him quiet. Dennis Allen, sorry, that's the name. It's when you're on live stream and you forget all the names. It's Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure he will not get shown up again like we did in the Eagles game.
Cool. Okay, so it's over to the fluffer.
Well, the Bears did.
What are you saying?
Well, the Bears did the bare minimum to get into, pardon the pun, by the way, to get into the wildcard spots with an 8-8 record. I mean, the last time you get something like that is from the AFC. That's the first time I've seen it in the NFC since I've been watching it. Regarding the Bears, though, yeah, that game back when they played the Saints in week 8, it was an extremely close game. It was Nick Foles under center, not Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky got benched. So just want to clarify that. Yeah, the Bears, they're just a strange team they have. They've got a very good runner in Montgomery, who the last 5 to 6 games, he's been putting up some really, really good yardage. And the Bears, the last 4 to 5 games, have put up 30 or more points on the teams. Here are the names of the teams that they have actually beaten: Lions, Texans, Vikings, Jags. Neither of them have got a very good defense. So now you're running back into the Saints run defense, who's actually been a real solid unit pretty much for most of the season. They've got the Mitchell Trubisky is just a funny character. He got benched in week 3 against the Falcons, led into their amazing comeback, or Falcons choke, whichever way you want to spin it. And then he gets benched, and then Foles gets benched again, and then Trubisky comes back in. So Trubisky, for me, in this game, he's not just playing to win a playoff game. I think he's actually playing for his job. I think if Trubisky loses this game, I think the Bears will give up on the guy. But the defense has been decent all throughout the season, with Khalil Mack being the front runner and Hicks as well. The thing is that front four, they can get to the quarterback, but if you're protected, that secondary is very, very susceptible. The problem with Drew Brees is he has taken a dip in throwing the ball down the field. He's more throwing short, intermediate passes now. That's where Michael Thomas comes in. If Thomas is back and ready to go, that Brees has got his safety valve back into it. I just don't see it being a repeat of Week 8. I think the Saints are a lot more better. They're a lot more composed. I think the Bears have just come into this just winging it. That's why I've taken the Saints to beat the Bears on this one by a bit of a landslide, because I think the Saints will get the job done. There's only one problem regarding of this game, and that's the fact the Saints, the last 2 or 3 years, they've either A, been unlucky, or B, they've been sucker punched in the playoffs. And it's about time that the Saints actually got something their own way this time. So, but I don't think the Bears don't have much of a chance. If Montgomery's running game is good and he gets over 100 yards rushing, it could cause problems. And yeah, Trubisky's going to have to do a lot of play action to get Allen Robinson and Darryl Mooney and the 2 tight ends and Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet open as well. But I've still got the Saints winning this game.
Amazing new term.
That's good from a Saints perspective.
Sorry, Nick.
But then they've got to pay Nick. They're still paying Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky. I don't know, but we're going to obviously get into our picks after we've gone through all the games. Ash, what's the score prediction from you?
I think it depends on how. It depends if we can hit the ground running. So I'm going to go, just so that you like to run up the score and I like to run up the score. I'm going to go Saints 42, Bears 17.
Blowout. Like it.
That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. Ash, if you want to hang around and pick all the games, stay in the background. If not, thanks for joining. We appreciate you coming on from the Dome Patrol. And we are going to get on to our next game. So if you want to hang around, Ash, please do so.
Yeah. Thanks for your input, Ash. Thanks, mate. Nick, obviously we've got no one here for the Baltimore Titans game. So
that's what we're going to talk. We're going to do we're going to talk about that very, very quickly, because I know Carl covered this on his show. So, Carl, what do the stats, etc., say about this game? Sum it up in a nutshell, because we've got the final game to get to, which is going to be hilarious.
Which is what everyone's talking about. But this game, we shouldn't really just push to one side, because obviously this game has got history. Last year, obviously you saw Tennessee rocking up to the number 1 seed in the Baltimore Ravens, who went 14-2, and Derrick Henry just completely and utterly ransacked the place, ran for 195 yards on the ground, and the Ravens, they could not get going. They're 0-2 now, losing to the Chargers 2 years ago, and obviously losing to Tennessee last year. It's we are on the verge of calling Lamar Jackson a player that's so good regular season, but in the postseason, he can't cut the mustard. And that'll be a sad thing because the boy is so talented. You look at the quarterback class that came out the draft in 2008. You had the likes of Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson. Out of every single one of them, Lamar Jackson is the only one that's only managed to get multiple playoff games and has won MVP. He's the only one out of that list. So with Tennessee, we know what Derrick Henry's done all season long. He's rushed for 2,000 yards on the ground, only the 8th NFL player to do that in history, which is simply outstanding. If he continues with this level of progress, he will no doubt be up there with the Emmitt Smiths and the Barry Sanders in all-time rushing. Ryan Tannehill has been a decent quarterback. He's thrown 33 touchdowns, I think 7 interceptions, with a pass rate of about 106. He's got good weapons around him. A.J. Brown is a decent one. Corey Davis is good. He's got a tight end in Geno Smith as well. But the big problem with this Tennessee team is the defense. It can't stop the pass. It can't stop the rush. They can't pass rush the quarterback, and their secondary is okay at best. They've got Malcolm Butler at corner, but that's one guy. You have to do better than that. Mike Vrabel probably would have drilled it into his defense. You have to do a damn sight better in order to stop this game. The Ravens have rushed the ball a lot better the last 4 or 5 games. Over the last 5 games, they've rushed for over 1,000 yards. Hell, they rushed for 400 yards on the Bungles last week. So the running game is good again. And Lamar has started to throw the ball a lot more frequently after he took a dump in the Browns game. All of a sudden, he's become a changed man for some reason. So I see this being a really tightly close contest. It's going to come down to which team is going to stop the run. If the Ravens can stop Henry, they've got a chance. If Tennessee can stop the Ravens of Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards, they've got a big chance.
It's interesting you say that, Carl, because exactly what you're saying. If they can stop Henry, they can possibly win the game. But the problem is that's one guy in their running backfield. The Baltimore Ravens, they always talk about the 3-headed monster, Dobbins, Ingram, Edmonds, but it's not. It's a 4-headed monster because you've got Lamar Jackson back there as well. You ain't going to stop all 4 of them guys, and the Baltimore Ravens are looking fucking good at the minute, and that is
going back to last year, the Ravens, they had Lamar Jackson. I don't think they had J.K. Dobbins last year because I think they drafted him this year. They had Mark Ingram, they had Gus Edwards, and they also had I think it was Justice Hill, I think his name is. So they had a 4-headed monster at running back, and they still couldn't stop against Tennessee. So yeah, adding J.K. Dobbins into that list is all well and good, but they're going to have to take a different approach to this game in order for the Ravens to win. I think they will get the job done in the end, Baltimore. I think they will get a win at long last.
It's a very interesting point you bring up about both running games and the fact that they ran 400 yards on the Bungles. And, of course, we all know what happened with the Steelers and the Bungles. Oh, dear. Never, ever, ever can I never bring up that result. That was the funniest result ever. Carl,
it wasn't like,
I'm sorry, are you in the playoffs? No, you ain't. So go home.
We are.
You are home.
We are going to, Carl, we're going to take you out, Mr.
Even
Fluffer.
the Browns made the playoffs.
We're going to bring you back very soon. But now it is the heavyweight clash, and I've been looking forward to this one, Pete. You keep stum at the moment because we are bringing on the world's poshest Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hello.
Here he is. Look at him. He's got a tea cozy on his head.
First
Freddie,
off,
how are you, brother?
I have to say a big thank you to Freddie for my back the other week for Boxing Day because he got absolutely out. So Freddie, thanks for having the Steelers back, brother.
I've been on the show 3 times, and each of the weeks the Steelers have lost the previous week, so good omen.
Kick him off now.
It's great. It's great. Freddie, as always, you keep it real, and we love you on this show because you do take some shit, and it is hilarious. But we have now got a heavyweight contest. It is the final game of Wildcard weekend. He's been waiting patiently in the background.
Hello, Nick. Hello, Pete. Hello, Freddie.
Hiya.
How you doing?
How are you? How are you, Ivan? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah, looking forward to the games.
Ivan, this has been a weird week or a couple of weeks for me and you because it's probably been the first time in the season we've been kind of civil to each other and we've almost sort of bonded, but that all finished now, mate. Now it's getting dirty again because this is a big game. Last week didn't matter anything, so I could give you a little pat on the back and a little cuddle because it meant nothing to the Steelers. But now it's serious. Now it's fucking back to hating each other, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't get Browns and Steelers without a bit of bitterness in there. One thing I would say before we talk about the game is congratulations to the Steelers for making the playoffs because it had been a normal season, they wouldn't even be here. The Ravens would have won the division and Browns would have come second. But COVID is equaled things out. So well done, Steelers, for making postseason. You must be chuffed, Pete.
I'm very chuffed, to be honest. At the beginning of the season, I'm sure Freddie would agree with me. Quite a lot of people had the Steelers finishing third in the division this year. And like we haven't played the best football, but we've grinded it. Our defense has been top quality. And as Freddie said earlier on, mate, the standard is the standard.
Right.
Indeed.
So let's get into this. We will go with Freddie first. Freddie, what are your keys to victory on both sides of the ball? And I know you're going to bring up the running game, so maybe start with the running game. Talk to me. What are your keys to victory for your Pittsburgh Steelers?
First things first, we need to start quickly because I think as Pete will tell you, we've played all 16 games. I can't remember us scoring on the first drive. It's always 3 and outs. It's always the same old boring run straight down the middle, a stupid pass that goes nowhere, and then punt the ball. So
just the first down would be nice, Freddie, wouldn't it? Just the first down would be nice on that first drive.
Hopefully we can actually start fairly well. I mean, I know the Browns are missing coaches, they're missing players, but I think even with this, I just think now that complacency might slip in more than anything. So we actually need to start at them. Hopefully we can run the ball, but if we can't, then the short passes is basically what's been our run game this year. And we need to mix that up with a few longer passes. As Jeff said at the start of the show, what we saw in the second half against the Colts is unlike anything we've seen since about week 7. So hopefully that can carry on. Other than that, as long as our defense gets to Baker, which I'm sure it will, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm relatively confident. I'd have been more confident had we played the full Browns team. So it's weird how the mind of a fan works.
It's funny you say that, Freddie, because I was a little bit sort of worried. But after watching last week, I kind of feel like we can sit on the sofa with a cigar on and it's going to be easy, mate, isn't it?
Nah, never easy with the Steelers. we've lost to Tim Tebow in the playoffs. Let's just anything's possible.
Well, yeah, cool. Tim Tebow, isn't it?
About that 2011 Tebow thing, there's a great, and I forgot to tell you this, Pete, there's a great program on NFL Network about that game. And as bad as Tebow was that whole season, he got the win against the Steelers, which of course is hilarious. He's awful. That's why he's not in the league. Pete, stop being blinkered with those stupid glasses on. Ivan, give me your keys to the game. Obviously, your coaches are out. There's a few players that are out, etc., etc. Are Cleveland going to stun the Squealers? Talk to me.
Well, I said on Twitter earlier that with Freddie, in fact, that if the Browns win this game, it will be the upset of the century. You know, we have only one offensive coach at the game. All our offensive coaches are out. The NFL won't even allow Stefanski to to talk to the team because it will give the Steelers an unfair advantage, apparently. So, you know, we are 7 first-team players out, including half our offensive line, and the other half are questionable. So, you know, the traditional strength of the Browns this season has been the run game. So, you know, if we don't have an offensive line, that's going to stop as well. So really, you're looking at the only chances I think the Browns have got to win is we have the best quarterback in the AFC North in Baker Mayfield. And if we have an offensive line, we have the best running game in the AFC North because our offensive line was ranked number 1 in both the pass rush and the run block. So they are the 2 strengths. And if they can get going, you know, it's possible. But given the amount of injuries, given the, Ward is our cornerback. Again, he's questionable. We haven't had Greedy Williams all season. So if Ward's out, you know, you're probably better off probably putting Mason Rudolph in as quarterback because Big Ben can't throw a long ball these days. So as Mason proved last week, you know, his strength is chucking a long ball down the end of the pitch. So we didn't have any cornerbacks as well. Then, you know, we're really up against it. But NFL's is an odd game. And although the Steelers start as strong favourites, anything is possible. So we'll just have to wait and see. You know, we've got our tight ends, which are a strength. As I say, Baker's the best quarterback on the pitch there. So
we're not letting him get away with that comment, Pete. Come on.
Well, I've got to be honest. I'm more concerned how wet my feet are from all the tears of Ivans that have just been coming out. It's going to take me a little while to dry my feet down there. But I think Freddie will probably agree with me, Ivan. You know, Cleveland have been great this year. I don't think anybody expected them to do what they did. So first off, I have actually sort of got a lot of respect for Cleveland Browns this year. I think they've done really well and deserve to make the playoffs. I'm a little bit gutted that you're not going to go in full strength because as probably the same with Freddie, we want to go and beat the best team or lose to the best team. But at the end of the day, no one remembers it. If we end up lifting the Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl, beating an under-strength Cleveland Browns team, no one's going to talk about it next year. But it is a shame that for you as a Cleveland fan, you're not going to get to sort of really go in there with your top team. And if you, like you said, if you do end up winning it, it will probably be the upset of the week, upset of the season. But it is a shame that we haven't got a full strength team to watch for the fans, for the neutrals, for us. But I do agree.
I mean, the only player I think you've got out is Joe Hayden. So, and that's the other possibility we've got. Obviously, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is back. I checked the site this morning, and I think he's back. He is a good deep ball threat. So, you know, if we
it was proven last week, wasn't it? He did play well last week.
There is the possibility. You know, it's an outside chance, but it's a possibility. Like you say, it would have been much nicer to see the full strength team against the Steelers because, you know, that's what you want to see. But, you know, the Browns weren't supposed to be here. So I think the other benefit, even if we do get beaten, which is likely, the benefit is we get postseason experience and, you know, a desire to get there again next year. So, you know, it's all a learning curve. So it should be good.
I can guarantee you, Ivan, it doesn't matter how weak you are and how strong the Steelers look on paper. This is the Steelers. They've given us heart attacks all season. So you'll have a chance. You'll be in the game and you'll be there right till the end, I reckon, even with an understrength team. I'm glad that they rested some of the players last week on the Steelers side. Not having a proper bye. There were some players there that needed a rest. But it was interesting to see that the fact maybe Freddie can touch on this, the way our offense played last week was not the dink and dunk Ben offense that we've been seeing all year. And I'm just wondering if they may sort of look at that, or maybe they were just sort of seeing what possibly they could do and open up to the Cleveland team. And then with a better QB coming in, with the other players coming in, whether we can obviously sort of push on that. Because at the end of the day, I felt that we came close with you guys last week and you guys were at full tilt. You had everything on the line and gave everything. And we were resting players and had a a backup QB in there. So I am confident, Ivan, I've got to say, but I've been confident on other games this year, and it's ended up with shit on my face, just like Juju dancing on the fucking bloody centre spot on the Bengals. But I don't feel that this is going to be the week that I'm the person dancing and I'm going to end up getting tackled, because I just feel the Steelers are going to be too strong for you this week, mate. Even if I think you guys had a full strength team out, I just think the Steelers would have enough this year. But that's not taking anything away from what the Browns have done this year. And I like your team. I'm surprised, with that run game that they don't go to that more. Because
I do, yeah.
If teams can absolutely knacker out our defense, our offense has got nothing. So if you can knacker out the defense, and it really surprised me last week that you didn't go to that more and just keep running.
Yeah, I do feel as if Stefanski was holding back, to be honest. I know it was a must-win game, but I think he played hardball with Tomlin, who was also, playing his usual game, trying to see whether the Browns would panic. But I don't think we did, and I think we held back on Chubb last week in order to, use him more tomorrow. So it would be interesting to see if it is the case, because like you say, considering that's the main strength, I don't think we've been using Chubb a lot the last few weeks. So I expect to see a lot more of Chubb tomorrow for sure.
Go on, Nick.
Do you know my keys to the victory tomorrow for the Browns? Run the ball, and pass the ball to the backs out of the backfield.
Well,
I'm going because you got Kareem Hunt, and you've also got Nick Chubb, which to me is a big plus. Peoples-Jones is great. If you roll out Mayfield and doesn't get pressure on him, that's quite a big point on this.
I'll tell you what, Nick, talking what you're saying there about run the game, I reckon we're going to have an even bigger game from our boy, Alex Highsmith, because I think TJ Watt's going to come out and they're going to hit his side, and he's been balling, he's been playing well, but I think that we are going to need to see a huge game from Alex Highsmith on that right-hand side of our defensive line, because I feel that is the area they're going to attack with TJ there. They're not going to have any time going on that side of the field. Our front line is awesome, and that is the only slight weak link. But the kid's been balling out the last few weeks, and I think he's going to step up and he's going to do just fine.
But it's going to be a big game for sure. I mean, Highsmith showed up and showed out last week. And to me, and we've had his dad on, Sam, that guy was fantastic. And it was fantastic to actually see someone like his son play so well. It was fantastic. And it's going to be a great game. Who I'm picking. We'll be going to be doing that shortly, just because. Right, final predictions, and then we're going to bring everyone else back on because we can. We got a couple of special guests, Mr. Smug from Kansas City, and also John, who's going to come on and give us our predictions. So, Freddie, what is your score prediction?
Well, this is going to be a one-score game. Anyone who thinks the Steelers are going to blow out the Browns like they did earlier in the season will be mistaken. I think the Steelers will win, but only just. I'm going to go Steelers 27, Browns 21.
Nice. Ivan, what are you thinking?
I can't see how the Browns can win this game. Everything's been stacked against us, so I just cannot see a Browns win. Obviously, I'd love to see a Browns win, but I can't see it. I think the Steelers tend to win the trenches against the Browns, and if they do that tomorrow, then that stops the running game, which is our major strength. So I would agree with Freddie. I was going to go about 21 points for the Browns, maybe 24, and I can see the Steelers getting 27, 28 plus. So. I'm thinking the Steelers win tomorrow.
Either way, Ivan,
Well-
like we've said, mate, even if you don't get that playoff win that you probably deserve, but it's a shame. But even if not, mate, I think you can sort of walk away from the season thinking we're legit in that division now, and we're going to put it again next year.
I think absolutely, and I think that's the good thing is you've got, when you look at it, AFC North next season. You've got Steelers, Ravens, and Browns, and if the Bengals actually get some decent coaching staff and some good picks, they're not going to be a pushover. But Ravens, Steelers, and Browns next season, I mean, what a matchup! It's going to be an absolute cracking season.
Burrow coming back at Cincinnati as well. It's going to be one.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, it's. I think if everyone gets all their players back, it's going to be great. Right now, people, we're going to bring every man and his dog on, and we are going to go through the picks. So let's bring on the fluffer.
So Nick, while you're bringing them on, Nick, I just want to have a quick chat with Freddie and Ivan. How annoying was it? You got 6 games and then you saw our one as the fucking late.
Absolutely.
Well,
hilarious.
We got
hilarious.
Got to be kidding me. We've had some tough ones lately, Freddie, haven't we? The timings haven't been good for us recently.
Yeah, well, we had that Washington game, which we'll forget about, and we also had that Bengals game, which Nick will constantly remind us about.
Bengals,
but we did win 12 games, and the Niners didn't, so
who gives a shit? The Bengals absolutely waxed
I don't know how many games the Niners won, but it wasn't as many as 12, and it wasn't even 8. So
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
All talk, little
108 different players, Freddie. That's all I need to say to you. Let's bring everyone on. So we've got the fluffer back on. We've got Ash back on. We've got Harrison back on.
Harrison's back. Who else we got?
And we have now, as always, we have to bring on someone who just sits there, is a smug motherfucker. And we all know who that is. Oh, look, there he is. Mr. Smug. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you fellas doing?
How you doing, Scott?
Thank you.
Scott, what do you reckon of the outfit today? Properly nailed it, didn't I?
You did.
George Michael. George Michael.
I mean, I don't know.
And now
I put a comment on there. I don't know. Did you try to trip anybody on their way into the show today, or?
Yeah, I had to sort out a few drug tests. I tripped Nick up on the way in. It was great. Great day.
He didn't see him walking. He didn't see me walking down the sideline and it tripped me.
And
I see John down there.
I took the shirt out of the
look at the t-shirt
from the garage for the show today.
That's good to see, because obviously you've been polishing your banjo because you're out in the sticks. Well done. Last but not least, and I know he's had a few issues this week, and I needed to bring my guy.
There he is, John, the best looking member of the Shank Club. There he is. How's it going, John?
What's going on, my fellas? Man, I've missed you guys. God damn it. It's been a rough new year, man. 2021 took someone special. Unfortunately, a good friend. She passed away in a house fire with her 5-year-old son, New Year's Day. It fucking killed me and my family here. My wife's best friend. Just a goddamn shame, man. A tragedy to say the least. Shout out to Dion, Khalid, Hellhound. What's happening, fam? Ash, Carl, Scott. Good to see you, brother. Harrison, nice to meet you. Coach Mike Tomlin, a.k.a. Pete, brother. What the hell is going on?
Man, I needed a smile on my face.
George Michael. It's George Michael. Listen, John, we really appreciate you coming on. I know you've had a tough time.
Yeah.
Prayers out to your family.
Thank you.
That is probably the worst thing, man. That's the worst.
Oh my God. Just just a beautiful family, man. Just destroyed by such a tragedy, man. Just unimaginable, and it's just a shame. But they're at peace now, man, and things go on, and unfortunately, that's just the way the cards fell. So let's go, gentlemen, on something positive, brother. What's going on?
Glad to have you on.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Good.
Right, let's pick some games. Right, we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to go Indianapolis Colts versus the Bills. We're going to go round table. George Michael, Indy or Bills? Choose.
Definitely going with the Bills. Going with the hot team. Bills look great. Even we can beat the Colts. Going with the Bills. Sorry, Harrison.
The poshest man on our show, Freddie Harper Davis. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, very posh.
Hello.
Very push over here. No, in all seriousness, I think there might be a lone wolf on this one. I think Bills will win it, but I don't think it's going to be quite the blowout that people think. I think it will be quite close until the fourth quarter, like it was said earlier. Yeah, Bills by 10.
Excellent. Ash, Dome Patrol. Who are you going for? Indy or the Bills?
Give me the Bills all day long.
Simple and easy. Carl.
Bills win 35-23.
Ivan.
Yeah, Bills for me as well. Similar score to Carl.
I think we're going to have a lone wolf situation here, maybe, Harrison. I hope you're warming up that.
You know what?
Harrison.
Charlie FC have just beaten Derby in the FA Cup third round. It is the third round of the Cup for a reason. It is
Derby did have 18 players out with COVID, but
it doesn't matter. It's upset weekend. That's what it's for. We have no chance at winning. So, of course, the Colts are going to win. We're going to win, and then we're going to take on the Chiefs because who are the Chiefs? They're a B-Tech Titans team. And then we're going to win the Super Bowl. It's all cozy out here. We are winning it all.
Harrison is on the beers early today, and I love it. It's wildcard weekend, and he should be enjoying every fucking minute of it. Go on, Harrison.
Well, he should do with that fucking wallpaper. Scott.
At least I'm not been relegated.
Who are you picking?
This game, this reminds me so much of last year. I know the Ravens were the 1 seed and the Bills are the 2 this year, but the Ravens stormed into the playoffs and won a bunch of games easily by big margins and just kind of ran through everybody. And then they played a team with a really great running game and a defense that was able to stymie what they do offensively. And that's exactly what you have this week. I'm going to pick the Bills in a close game, but I could see Jonathan Taylor. The Bills' run defense has not been good. The Chiefs ran for like 300 yards on them, and our running game isn't even our strength. It's not even that good, to be quite honest. So, I definitely see a way where the Bills get upset, but I'm going to pick the Bills 28-21, somewhere in there, one score.
Nice. John V, talk to me. Who are you going for?
I'm with Scott. I believe there's room for an upset, but the favorite is the Bills. They've got multiple strengths. I mean, they've really shown up and shown out. So I'm going to go with the Bills. I think that they may struggle in the run just because the Colts are pretty dominant on the run D. I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to take the Bills over the Colts. 31-21.
I had a friend there for a second.
Interesting.
Sorry.
I really, really, really want to go for the Colts because Phillip Rivers, but I can't. I've got to go for the Bills. I think the Bills will win by 2 scores, possibly. It's going to be a great 6 o'clock game over here. Really looking forward to it. But unfortunately, Harrison, that means you have got to do the lone wolf. Please, sir, give us your best wolf impression.
Good lad.
There you go. That was pretty awesome. Okay.
No pressure.
Rams, Sea Chickens. Now, I know this is going to be hard to pick for at least 2 of us in this room. And I'm going to say I want to draw because fuck both of them. I don't give a shit about this game. But if I have to pick, I really want the Rams to win because I'm not picking the Sea Chickens. John, I know who you're going to pick, but go on.
Anybody that knows me knows that I cannot stand those goddamn Seahawks. I can't stand Pete Carroll. I tell you guys every week, man, he's bound to choke on that wad of gum sooner or later. I can't stand him. But nonetheless, if it could end in a draw, I'd love it, Nick. But I'm going to say the Rams with conviction, please. Fucking beat those motherfuckers. I hate them.
There you go. You see, there's the voice of. That's why we bring John on because he knows.
Can't stand
Scott, Seahawks, Rams. Choose.
I mean, unless I'm mistaken, I think the Rams lost to the Jets a couple weeks ago. They're not that good. I'm going with the Seahawks. Fairly comfortable in this one.
Seahawks lost to the Giants.
Well, the Giants are better than the Jets.
Yeah, but
well,
still.
let's face it, both New York teams are shitty. But anyway, Harrison, Sea Chickens, Rams. Choose.
Like you said, I don't really care about this game, but the Seahawks, I think they're just a better team overall.
Can't be doing with the Sea Chickens. Hey, Ivan, who are you going for?
Well, I think it's going to be a close game. I watched the Rams last game, and I don't know who their quarterback was. I've never seen him before, but it was a poor game. So when I think if it's going to be an even game, I'll always look at the quarterback. Seahawks have got a much better quarterback. I'm going Seahawks.
Oh, I'm almost choking on my beer here. Carl, talk to me.
I can't deviate from what Hellhound has said. I'm taking Seattle to win this game, 20 points to 17.
God damn it, Carl.
Ash.
I will never pick the Rams since the no-call game. I want the Rams to be number one pick every single season. I want them to go back to St. Louis. I want them to go back to St. Louis, get out of LA with their shiny new fake stadium, get rid of them. So give me the Seahawks all day.
You know what, Ash? That's very funny you say that because that's how I think about the Raiders. They're going to have shiny new stadiums with fuck all in their trophy cabinet. But that's another story.
Well, they can always tap up Atlanta Falcons and ask them for some fake crowd noise.
Well, yeah, that's very true. Yeah, but you see, the 12s have already pumped in that fake crowd noise.
Oh yeah.
Freddie. Rams.
I got my coin out. I got a coin because I think it's one of these where by a flip of a coin it's going to go either way. I mean, Seattle's offense is not great recently. They started really good, but they've been awful recently. The Rams' defense will absolutely clatter them. And then on the flip side, it doesn't really matter who the Rams' quarterback is. They just look. I mean, Goff's not a starter, as Carl said earlier. I mean, he's just so. I don't know, dull. Is that the right word? But it's.
I wouldn't say he's. I wouldn't say he's dull. I say he's inconsistent. I'd say I'd say Goff's inconsistent. He can have one good game.
I don't know. I think this could go either way. I'm going to say Seattle by 3, but I don't know.
It's very strange you say that, Freddie, because obviously last week the Niners played Seattle, and the longer the game went on, even though the points were there, you just knew Russell was going to somehow cook.
That was one of the worst games I've seen this season. That was properly awful.
That's what the Niners do, unfortunately. They were all over them for 3 quarters and then give it 10. Bit like the Super Bowl last year, Mr. Smug. Give him 10 minutes, let him cook, and it was done. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Pete, Sea Chickens, Rams.
Right,
George Michael, speak.
Right, this is going to be my last one, mate. I've had the call I've been waiting for, so I'm going to have to leave. Kevin Stefanski's given me a call. He wants to spread COVID to the Steelers team because it's the only chance he's got. So I've got to have a quick meeting with him. But this is my last call. So just before I go, thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Cheers, Pete.
Great to see you. I really hope you enjoy the game today. Harrison, it's good to see you again, brother.
You too,
Scott,
man.
always a pleasure to see you. Carl, thanks very much, as always, mate, stepping in. You always do a great job for us, mate. Really appreciate it. Ivan, really hope you enjoy tomorrow night. Freddie, same as, mate. I know we'll all probably be on Twitter giving each other a bit of banter. But just final thought, I was going to go with Seattle earlier on, but after hearing the news of John, I've got to give him a bit of happiness, and I'm going to go with the Rams and try and make sure that 2021 goes on a little bit better for him. John, I'm sorry to hear your bad news, brother, and we're here for you if you need us. And as I say, let's hope the rest of 21 is good for you, mate. But everybody, thank you very much. Happy New Year to everyone. Enjoy Wildcard weekend. Ivan, I hope you fucking lose. See you later, boys.
Cheers, coach.
There you go. Pete, a.k.a. George Michael, has got to go and do some cottaging in some local toilets. But that's...
Did Pete have
anyway.
Did Pete have to run to his new job selling used cars? Is that what he was doing with that?
Either that or he's got a George Michael tribute later on. Right. Bucks versus the football team. Now, I am split on this game because obviously number 11, comeback player of the year. If he doesn't win it, fucking fixed NFL bollocks. You've got Tom Brady, 40 touchdowns at 43 years old, which is mad. He's still not the GOAT. Joe Montana is always going to be the GOAT. I don't know. This, to me, is a tough game to pick because Washington's defense is awesome. Can they stay in a shootout if it's Alex Smith or the backup? I'm not so sure. I'm still edging with Washington. I think their defense is going to come in, show up and show out and put Brady off his game. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I don't think there's going to be a big margin of victory, but I would still like to think Washington by possibly 3. But I just want, if Alex Smith plays, I just want him to play, get through the game without serious injury, and hopefully Washington move on. I've said all along that the Bucks have been smoke and mirrors all season, and they kind of have and kind of haven't. But Freddie, what's your thoughts on this one?
I don't like to agree with you, Nick, but your assessment's pretty much
Don't agree. Don't agree with me. I can't have it.
You're pretty much spot on. So no, I am going to take Tampa in this one, but it all depends on what we see from Alex Smith. I mean, Brady's going to struggle, I think, until probably classic Brady. He'll come back in the fourth quarter, and the Bucks will win it by a score. But yeah, I think this will be a lot closer than people think it will be.
That's the thing with Brady, and I think with his defense, if they can hold up late into the fourth, who knows? It'll be interesting. Ivan.
Well, I think it's going to be close. I agree. I think the Washington D line is really exciting to see. I really like watching the Washington D line. So I think it's going to be very close. I'm going to go Buccaneers purely and simply because I was at the Buccaneers game, Browns Buccaneers, a couple of years back, and I really like the experience there. So I'm going to go the team I want to win, which is the Buccaneers. And that's it, really. I'm going to split it.
Do you think Alex Smith, comeback player of the year?
Absolutely. I mean, he has to get it, doesn't he? Can't be anyone else.
You know what the NFL's like. Myles Garrett assaults players, and he's now up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yeah, but to be fair to Garrett, he was racially insulted. So,
well, sorry, I'm being a Cleveland fan. I'm going to be a homer. No one knows what happened in that, but
never.
Well, there was a huge, great microphone about 10 yards behind him. So, and the NFL decided they weren't going to release what was said. So,
well, if you got that secretly, you know you can DM me so I can listen to it. Personally, I think it was hilarious that he attacked him. But anyway, Harrison, you're drinking the Kool-Aid still because obviously I saw that. Who do you think is going to win? Bucks, the football team?
You know what? As a massive Colt fan, fuck Tom Brady. He's a B-Tech Peyton Manning. So when you buy a team, they're like the Man City of football, aren't they? They just bought the team. So do you know what? I'm feeling underdogs up the Washington football team. Up Alex Smith for coming back and winning that division. Montez Sweat, Chase Young, just fantastic guys. Let's go Washington.
It's a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale waiting to happen if Washington can get through this one. Ash, what are you saying?
I really want to pick the Washington football team. I really do. But unfortunately, Brady got the refs in the divorce settlement with Belichick. So I'm going to have to pick the Yucks on this one.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because everyone, after he left the Patriots, oh dear, what a shame, Carl. Patriots suck. And it wasn't Belichick. It was obviously 90% Brady. Everyone wants to see this team absolutely just suck. But I don't know. Carl, what do you think? Going back, obviously, because you had Cam, Superman in your franchise this year, and it was obvious that it wasn't a match made in heaven, which was hilarious because the whole of the NFL went, yes, the Patriots suck. Are you going on to Tom Brady, or are you going to pick the Washington team?
Well, you made a point earlier on that, if you choose with your head, you choose the Buccaneers. If you choose with your heart, you choose the Washington football team. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like Washington to try and win this game, partly because of Alex Smith, 21 surgeries on his broken leg. The doctors told him he would never, ever walk again, let alone play football again. To come back from that sort of catastrophic injury, that is just unbelievable. And the second one as well, Ron Rivera has been battling cancer and has beaten the shit out of cancer. And I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with me on this. Everyone wants to beat the shit out of cancer. But regarding going back to this game, yeah, if the Washington front four can get to Brady, it'll make life very, very interesting. But I think in the fourth quarter, when it is needed, Brady is clutch and he will get the job done. I'm taking the Bucks winning this 30 points to 16.
Mr. Smug, what do you think?
Yeah, you know, Nick, I'm with you. I give Alex Smith a lot of credit for turning around the Chiefs, and I know they didn't get to the Super Bowl with him, and Patrick Mahomes came in and unseated him and has just been unbelievable. But Alex Smith's a class dude, so kudos to him. He definitely deserves to win that award. Tom Brady, man, you just cannot make up the luck that this guy gets. He's in the playoffs. They're 1-5 against teams with winning records this year, and he gets a 7-9 team in the playoffs. So it's just unbelievable. But yeah, the Buccaneers are the team here that the talent is just superior, far superior to that of Washington. So I think the Bucs win fairly comfortable. I look at this game probably 30-10, 30-13, somewhere in there.
Okay. John, am I going to lone wolf on Alex Smith and the Washington?
You know, Nick, I think so, man. Alex Smith has not really. I mean, the man's a miracle. That leg injury that he sustained is unimaginable, man, as well. And he just, outside the injury, man, things don't ever go right for him, Nick. I mean, I love him as much as you do for obvious reasons, but things just don't go right. Before I give you that, let me share something with you guys. Listen to this right now about his injury, okay? Joe Theismann, right? You guys are all aware of this guy. On November 18th.
I remember him well, and I remember him getting injured in that game.
Yes, sir. That was November 18th, 1985. Joe Theismann broke the right tibia and fibula. On November 18th, 33 years later, fellas, the same day, November 18th, 2018, Alex Smith breaks the right tibia and fibula, playing for both Redskins, right, at the time, or Washington football team today. They were both playing for Washington. Location, home. Both injuries sustained at home. Both injuries sustained on the 39-yard line. The final score for both fucking games, 23-21, 23-21, 33 years later. Both injuries caused by a three-time Defensive Player of the Year, Lawrence Taylor for Theismann, Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Watt. Left tackle, Pro Bowl left tackle Joe Jacoby on the field due to injury. Left tackle Trent Williams off the field due to injury. Can you guys see? Is that insane or what? I mean, literally, it is a carbon copy of injury on the fucking same yard line. Just incredible. And unlucky is my point. Jesus Christ, guys. I mean, it's 33 years later, the injury sustained to the same quarterback, right? Sustained by another quarterback. That's insane. I mean, can we all agree that things just don't go well for Alex Smith? I mean, take nothing away from his recovery. It's phenomenal. And I love the story. I mean, it's huge. It's a great story for the NFL. If he doesn't get comeback player of the year, I will be disappointed. Okay? But nonetheless, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. And, you know, the guy pulls out miracles out of his ass. And this is where he shines in the playoffs. I take the Bucs.
Interesting you say that, John, because there is a similarity as well with what you were saying about Alex Smith and the Niners when he played for the Niners, and Joe Montana when he threw the catch. It was 14 seconds left. It was on the same yard line. Joe Montana threw the catch. Alex Smith threw the catch 3.
Yes.
Alex. If you
There's
play, brother.
There's something in the universe. That calf better heal, or he should stay off the field, because I don't know.
No, I agree. But Alex, please, if you play, I'm rooting for you all day long. I am going to take the lone wolf. So, let's go Washington. Let's go Alex. Ravens, Titans. Freddie, choose.
Can I get my coin again? another game. Another game. I have no idea. I think I'll take the Ravens purely because the Titans' defense is just appalling. But the one thing that will benefit the Titans is that the Titans' worst part of their team is their pass defense, and of course the Ravens can't pass because they've got a running back at quarterback. So I will take the Ravens just purely because the Titans can't stop a thing. So yeah, Ravens by 7.
I think you're right there. The Ravens are good on offense, and the Titans couldn't stop anything. Ivan, who you got?
Well, I'm going to go Ravens, but Titans were not favourites the last 2 games that they've beaten the Ravens, so it wouldn't surprise me for some miracle to happen. The Ravens have a bit of a history of choking postseason, a bit like the Bungles used to do when they were there. So it could happen again. But on paper, you got to say Ravens are a much stronger team. They're coming in on fire. So I'm going to stick with what I think is most likely to happen, which is a Ravens victory.
Did you actually just mention the Bungles that waxed Pittsburgh? Sorry, I didn't quite hear. Did you mention that?
That was a very enjoyable game, that one. if the Bungles can wax the Steelers, then
and it wasn't exactly like you lost to Joe Mixon either. You lost to Giovanni Bernard. That's even more fucking embarrassing.
Keep it going.
I just because obviously Pete's gone and Freddie, as ever, is going to take all the shit. I just wanted to make sure you mentioned the Bungles that absolutely killed the Steelers. But anyway, Harrison. Ravens, Titans, choose.
We played the Titans twice this season. Once they were awful, once we were awful. We played the Ravens, and the only way the Ravens won was we was awful. So in that sense, I think I can see the Titans winning. Derrick Henry, man. You can't stop Derrick Henry. You can put 20 men on his back, and you can't stop Derrick Henry. So how I look at it, the Titans have to come out and be perfect all game, but the Ravens only have to come out and be perfect for 3 quarters. So it's really close. So I think I'm just going to edge it to the Ravens.
This is a really interesting game because Derrick Henry, 4 running backs and the quarterback against it is, as Freddie said, it's a coin flip. I don't know. Ash, what do you think?
I'm going to actually go on the Titans with this one. As much as I believe the Baltimore Ravens could win it, it's like Harrison said, that Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards in the season, he absolutely plays the trail. I don't think the Ravens defense will stop him. And the Titans defense just needs to get at Lamar Jackson. He's not good under pressure. So yeah, give me the Titans.
Awesome. Just heard Cole Beasley today will be active. So that's an interesting point there because we all thought he might not be up, but he is up today.
Made that 45 to Buffalo then.
Are you taking Ravens or Titans?
Freddie's like this. It's a toss of a coin here. I've got the Ravens winning this 26-24, but by no means this is going to be really, really close. As I said, it's going to come down to who stops the run. You stop Derrick Henry, you've got a good chance of winning it. If you stop the running game of the Ravens, period, then you've got a chance of winning. If Lamar Jackson loses this game, he will be known as, if any of you are basketball fans, he's going to be known as the James Harden of the NFL. Can do it in the regular season, no problem. Come playoff time, doesn't show up. But if Derrick Henry does cause problems, the only coup de grace I want to see out of him tomorrow night is he stiff arms Marcus Peters out of the way and just pushes him out of the way.
That would be great to see.
Sorry, Carl.
Ravens.
Okay. Mr. Smug sitting there, Kansas City. Nothing can happen. Nothing can go wrong. Travis Kelce's the best. Blah, 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 blah. Who do you think?
it is a close game, and in close games like this, I always lean to the team with the better quarterback, and that's Ryan Tannehill. So I'm going to pick the Titans in a close game. They beat them last year in the playoffs. They have the formula. They know how to defend Lamar Jackson. So I think this is probably 35-31, 35-30, but I'm going to go with Titans.
Okay, John, who are you going with?
I believe in some upsets, and I believe that the league is due for some upsets. I think the Titans will edge this one out as well. Listen, A.J. Brown's nobody to shit on. I mean, the dude's pretty solid. Tannehill, Ivan, I'm sorry, but that game against the Browns, you guys took 3 quarters of football. You dominated. You dominated the game in many aspects. But Judge, shortly after that, if they had a few more minutes, would you admit that they could have given you guys a run for that game? Add maybe 2.5, 3 minutes to the clock. Do you think that the Browns would have won that game, judging by the comeback that the Titans made?
Well, I mean, it's a tough one to call, isn't it? I mean, the Browns won it. So,
It's just they can do it, and I believe that Derrick Henry run game is so predictable because you know it's coming. I mean, you can stack the box, and you can make the attempt to stop him, but other times you're leaving there's nobody better than AJ on that outside seam route, outside the numbers. Have you guys seen him make plays? It's pretty impressive, you know. So I'm going to say that the Titans could edge this one out. I agree.
Interesting. I'm going to go just purely based on the run game, and Hollywood Brown is coming back. He's made a few plays. I think if the Ravens can do that misdirection and all that kind of stuff, I think the Ravens are just going to edge it very slightly. Very, very slightly. But again, I mean, all of these games, and it's amazing that you have 6 games in a weekend where they are all quite tight. I don't think there's any games that you can say this is going to be a blowout, which to me is great because I'm really looking forward to it. Although this next game might be a blowout, and I'm still saving the best till last, but this game could be a blowout. Bears Saints. Freddie, with your little tea cozy on there, choose.
Who on earth is going to back the Bears in this game? I was thinking of a way of playing devil's advocate here, but I watched a bit of the Bears Packers game last week, and honestly, it was close for a couple of quarters, and then Trubisky did nothing, and the Bears fell away. That'll probably happen in this game. I can't see anything other than a pretty comfortable Saints win. Saints by 2 or 3 scores.
That's interesting. That's interesting because everyone is writing off Trubisky and the Bears defense that hasn't really sort of shown up. They sort of snuck in the playoffs. A lot of people had them as the worst team, forgetting the NFC least. It's interesting. Ivan, what do you think?
Saints for me are the best team in the NFC, so I'm going Saints all the way. I think it's going to be a blowout, and if the Saints don't make the Super Bowl, I'll be actually quite disappointed because I'm looking forward to a Saints Chiefs Bills final. So
that's interesting because obviously the MVP race is on, and Aaron Rodgers, to me, has been the MVP. Oh dear, Russell Wilson, what a shame. Fuck the Seahawks. But never mind, that's interesting. Harrison, always got to get Seahawks digs in when I can, as you know. Harrison, who have you got?
The Saints, simple. You can't, Alvin Kamara, you can't go against him in a minute, can you? What was it, 6 touchdowns in his last game? And then probably another 6.
Even if, what about if he's out due to COVID? Do you still give the edge to the Saints?
Yeah,
I know he's a big part of their offense. I get that. But even so, do you still give them that?
Yeah, just the simple fact, the division, the Chicago went through. How have they made the playoffs? I don't get it. I wish the Colts could be that bad and make the playoffs. It'd be nice, but I just can't see Chicago getting past this New Orleans team. It's too strong all around the floor.
No, I think it looks pretty grim for the Bears, if I'm honest. Now, Ash, I wonder who you're picking in this.
I'm going to go Saints all day long. And to go to your comment about Alvin Kamara being a big offense, just remember, we didn't have him against Week 16 against the Panthers. Our entire running back, Cole was out. We didn't have, Murray. We didn't have any others. All we had was T.Y. Montgomery, and he rushed for over 100 yards against the Panthers. So hopefully, touching wood and praying to the football gods that Alvin Kamara does test negative come game time. We got Michael Thomas back. We still got Jared Cook. We got the Swiss Army knife, Taysom Hill. The defense is still rocking up. So give me the Saints all day long.
Yeah, it's important, these games, definitely for Philip Rivers, and also I think for Drew Brees, could be their last seasons. But all I'll say is what happened to your Saints against the Niners last year. You tried to foul George Kittle with about 25 players with face masks.
Well, I'm going to make a couple of our players out as well.
We came out with the win, Ash. That's all I need to say.
I believe when we played the Niners this season, you took out Jared Cook as well, I believe.
No, we didn't. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
Jared Cook would make no difference. Carl, talk to me.
Yeah, I think this is one of the bigger margins I've got in this game. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky. I just don't. The Saints should have this game in the bag, preferably by the third quarter. I've got the Saints winning this 33-18.
It's a really weird game, this one, because everyone's writing off the Bears because of Trubisky. I don't know. I'm still thinking about my pick. Scott, who you got?
Yeah, I think, and sorry, Claire DeBear, but I think even if you're a Bears fan, you got to be rooting against the Bears in this game. You don't want Mitchell Trubisky to somehow luck into a win or two here in the playoffs, and now you're back in he's the man going into the next year and into the future. He's not the man. It's fool's gold. So I think the Saints win easily in a game that's probably not much of a game. This is probably the easiest, most lopsided matchup in the playoffs this first weekend, I think.
Joe.
I agree with Scott. I think the Bears came off as like the worst 5-0 team in football at the beginning of the season. So, that didn't speak much about the quarterback play. They bounced back and forth between Trubisky and Nick Foles. So they really didn't know what the hell they were doing at the quarterback position. So they're not very strong under center. So I'd say you're not getting it's week to week with Trubisky. So you really don't know who you're getting. You're getting a mobile kid he's making good decisions. He's getting the ball out quick. And then, he's overthrowing his targets and he's shitting the bed. So at the end of the day, I think the Saints are the best team coming out of the NFC. So, the Bears defense is solid, guys. That front, that pass rush is insane. So, but they're getting old and they're getting beat up because the offense doesn't do shit and the defense can't get off the field. So at the end of the day, I think, Ash, you got your boy Michael Thomas, a.k.a. the Slant King. Outside of that, if Kamara doesn't play, you guys are at really not at risk, but it just kind of takes a little bit of the dynamic of your run game out. So I say I'll take the Saints, 27-14. Saints walk away and knock them out.
Latavius Murray's not exactly a bad backup, though, is he? He's actually
not.
been pretty good behind Kamara.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, Kamara's just the speed guy. He's so elusive, man. He can get in and out of cuts, jump cuts, spin moves. I've never seen a guy make a better spin move and find center outside of that spin than Kamara. So honestly, I'm impressed. I think the Saints, the Niners are out of your way, Ash. So take the field, brother.
That's why I'm hoping for a Seahawks win to get with the Rams out of our way as well. So
it's again, it's another game that everyone is going to say the Saints are going to win because Chicago ain't shit. Blah blah blah. I don't have a coin, and I can't see anyone other than the Saints, if I'm honest. They've got a lot of weapons. I think Drew Brees is still playing for that legacy to maybe go out on a high. And the Bears are just shit. Sorry, they are. They are. Sorry, they're shit.
To the point.
At the end of the day, right, the 49ers traded out of that position so that they could take Mitchell Trubisky. And everyone slates the Niners for their draft picks and all that. But fucking hell, I'm so glad we didn't take Trubisky because we would have gone into hell in a handcart. But who knows? Right. This is the final game that we're going to pick. And I need to dip out for 2 minutes. So, Carl, you are in control.
Oh,
and
shit.
I will then. Oh, yeah, that's fucked it. But this is the biggest contest out of the whole of the weekend. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Browns. Now, I'm going to give my pick, then I'm going to disappear. I'll still hear you and everything. And I'm still going to go with the Browns. And I'll tell you why. That running game is going to be on point. Myles Garrett has got a point to prove. I know they've lost some players on the back end and they haven't got this coach, they haven't got that coach. But at the end of the day, Kevin Stefanski has still handed over his game plan to the guy that's calling the plays, right? It's the biggest game for the Browns in, I don't know, probably as long as the Niners didn't get to the Super Bowl.
Since 2002.
Oh,
Ivan, remind me who won that game.
Steelers. 21 points in the fourth quarter.
I'm really
Tommy Maddox.
I'm not a neutral, obviously, because I want the Steelers to lose, and you all know that because of Pete, right? But I'm looking forward to this game. If the Steelers come out with the same game plan they did last week, I think Cleveland will have problems. They haven't fired their offensive coordinator, who apparently fucked up the first game against Indianapolis. And then all of a sudden, Rahitno boy gets a second win and rapes everyone on the field and they win. It's, you know what? This game has got me thinking. I don't know. I want the Browns. I do want the Browns to win, right, because of their long playoff drought and the fact that George Michael, who's had to knob off, is a Steelers fan. It's hard for me because it's a close game. It's a close matchup. I think the Browns will just edge it maybe by a field goal. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a defensive game. Pittsburgh still do not have a run game. And it doesn't matter who's calling the offensive plays, whether it's Big Ben at the line, whether it's Tomlin on the sideline, or it is the offensive coordinator. They do not have a run game. And that is the biggest problem with the Steelers. You can't dink and dunk or even luzz a few long balls like Rudolph. And Rudolph last week, holy shit, how different was this Pittsburgh team? When you watched them last week compared to boring statues of going 5 yards long, 5 yards long. It's going to be an interesting game. I honestly think that Cleveland will prevail by a field goal. I will be listening, Freddie, and I will come back. So, Freddie, be the voice of reason and tell me what you think is going to happen in this game.
So how many anti-Niners comments can I get in the next couple of minutes? Then let's think about this. No, in all seriousness, I said earlier.
You can't, because I'm still here. You cannot be anti-Niners. And if you are, John will shoot you down. Cut. So, Freddie, I am away from it, but I am listening.
No, I think, as I said earlier, I think the Steelers will win it by one score. I think complacency will take over, as it always does when we play these teams with lesser players. I mean, look at the Ravens. Our game, they completely had no good players on the team at all, and they nearly beat us at Heinz Field. So, yeah, I'm worried about this game. My big theory is that if we can keep Baker in the pocket, we'll smash him to pieces and we'll be okay. But if he escapes, that's when he's more dangerous. Yeah, I think Steelers will win, but only just. And quite frankly, I think it doesn't really matter who wins this game. We're going to lose in the divisional round anyway, because the Bills and Chiefs are just a level above us.
Freddie, as ever, you are the voice of reason, and I really need to go because the toilet is calling me. We're going to go round the horn. We're going to go with Hellhound, Harrison, Ash, Carl, Smug, and John. I will be back. Carry on the conversation, guys.
So, I mean, I cannot see how the Browns can turn this one round, and the reasons I've given already. But another one which I'd meant to mention earlier is that the NFL, in their wisdom, have taken Stefanski away from us. Not just, he can't even communicate with the team on the day. So one of the reasons the Steelers are so good postseason usually is because, once you've gone past your scripted plays, you're down to your head coach and your play callers to look at your tactics and to come up with different plays and look at weaknesses and so on. Stefanski's really good at that. And we can't use him at all. So once the scripted plays have gone, which presumably we're going to be using our running game for, Tomlin's going to be coming back and stopping that run game. The offensive line is decimated. The running game is as good as the offensive line. We're already short of 2 offensive line players, and we've lost 2 of our backups. So, we've got 2 of our normal offensive line players on the pitch. So it's going to be very tough. DPJ, deep ball is a possibility. We could win. Steelers have to be strong favourites, but we could win. As I say, you look at the quarterbacks. Baker's the best quarterback on the pitch. PFF proved that. Game all seasons have proven that. We have some weapons that can win the game, but overall, you have to favour the Steelers. So as gutting as it is for me to say it, if we had our full team out there, I reckon we could beat the Steelers, but we don't. We've got half a team and no coaches. So you have to favour the Steelers.
Harrison?
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations to the Browns for making the playoff first time in 7 years. It's nice to get a new team in here. I really like Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. I loved him coming out of the draft. And there's some, just saying, you know, Steelers, although a very good team this year and made us look stupidly bad, I don't think they have been amazing at any point during the season. They've not wowed me. They've not made me go, that is a team that can win the Super Bowl. But I do want the Browns to win, just because I'm a big fan of Baker. But unfortunately, like you said, you know, you've got players missing, you've got coaches missing. And when it comes to these games, you just need them guys in there. So it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to just edge it to the Steelers.
Yeah. Ash?
I didn't make my pick, and I'm going to have to shoot. I didn't expect it to be this one. I'm going to pick the Steelers, but it's going to be a close game. It's in the AFC North, you know, divisional matchup in the wild card. So I think Big Ben, they just scrape through and they'll go to the divisionals next week. So thank you for having me on, guys. I'm going to have to shoot before I get told off. So I'll see you all later. Thank you.
Cheers, Ash. See you.
Cheers, Ash. Thank you.
Ash, take care, mate. Thank you very much. Okay, so obviously I stepped away and my headphone tripped out. So who's in the lead so far? Is it the Steelers or the Browns?
The best team in the AFC North.
No one picked the Ravens.
Luckiest team in the AFC North. Let's correct that.
Scott?
Yeah, I tweeted out a week ago that it would be Chiefs Browns next weekend, and I know the COVID deal, and I know the coaches, and they're missing some players. And I will say the Steelers surprised me. They showed me a little something against the Colts a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. They had the comeback. I didn't see that in that team with that offense. Are the Browns really worse than the Bengals with the players they have out? The Steelers are just a flawed team, I think. I'm still going to go with the Browns. Definitely not as comfortable of a pick as I thought it was a week or so ago before just absolute nightmare situation for the Browns. But, yeah, congratulations to you. You guys have got great fans there. To root and be, you know, as behind the team as they are after, 18 years is a long time to not make the playoffs. So congratulations. I'm still going to pick the Browns in a close game.
That's interesting. Sorry, John, you're obviously in the. I'm back now. I'm back, Carl. Stop fluffing.
Okay,
John, you're sort of.
Just kick me into touch.
This is a big game here, man. If you can keep Baker Mayfield in the pocket, you know, he makes some shitty throws and he doesn't make good decisions. If he rolls out, it gets dicey, but they're missing 7 players or so and Stefanski. So, look, here's the thing. Without their 2 starting corners are not there and a safety. So that leaves the secondary completely exposed. Ben pretty much shines in these moments, man. He's pretty awesome in the playoffs, right? So you got to figure out, how is Van Pelt going to make up for Stefanski's absence? I really don't see it. I'm not confident. I know that the game plan is true and the scripted plays will be there, but the Steelers haven't exactly dominated scripted plays, Freddie. Let's be honest. You guys start the game like absolute dog shit. And that Randy Feitner, whatever the hell his name is, that dude's stuck in the 80s, man. You guys look like a football team throwing the ball in 1988. You know what I mean? There's no goddamn trick plays. There's nothing crafty. There's nothing new and modern. It's 1980s football. But now you've got a weak secondary for the Browns. This game is anybody's ball game. I really don't know. I mean, you can't be one-dimensional and expect Nick Chubb to run the ball for 3.5 quarters of football. It's not going to happen. I mean, eventually this dude's going to tire out, and the Steelers are pretty much healthy now. I mean, I think Ben was coming back from an injury that nobody really knew much about. Can we agree? That knee was potentially bothering him. I mean, he couldn't step into throws. He looked like Jimmy Garoppolo half the time, Nick, throwing the goddamn ball.
Steelers have one player.
Thing is, though, with Ben, he always has injuries. Oh, I'm not going to play because I twisted my fucking ankle and just makes excuses.
Yes, he has.
And it's every year it's the same. And get ready for the off-season narrative when the Steelers go out, if the Steelers go out, that Big Ben's not coming back because of blah blah whatever bollocks. What's the feeling like up in your neck of the wood? Because obviously you're in Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
I mean, shout out to the Browns fans, man. They've been waiting forever for a season like this. This is everything to them. I mean, they haven't had any excitement since fucking corduroys, man. I mean, this is crazy. Right? I mean, this is crazy for them. They haven't seen anything like this since 2010, right? I mean, the Steelers, this couldn't be a better matchup for the franchises and the rivalry. So, I mean, I'm all for it, man, but they're fucked. Yeah. They don't have a secondary. They don't have linebackers, Nick. The Browns are merely at a disadvantage here.
Harrison's out. Who's our best?
Harrison's just been activated.
Malcolm Smith is out.
In the last 5 minutes.
I mean,
sorry, say that again, Freddie.
Ronnie Harrison's just been activated off the COVID list.
Well, that's something. We've got
something.
We've got one good safety at least. So
we still don't have that.
Olivier Verning as well is a big miss for this game.
Yeah.
But I still, even with my Pittsburgh bias, I'm still picking the Browns. I think it's going to be a great game. I can't call it either way, but it's going to be.
I can't call it. I don't know what to say. I mean,
all of these games this weekend have got their own little things that are going to hopefully either make really close games, just very quickly on the draft where people are. Who do you think's going first? Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields? Freddie, who do you think?
Lawrence. Move on.
Really? Why do you say that? Just out of interest, what's your sort of
Fields has been very good for 1 year. Lawrence has been a generational quarterback coming through college. He's been consistent for 3 years. He's the guy. It doesn't matter if Urban Meyer's there. He will still take Lawrence at 1. And he's even said this. I know he's former Ohio State, but he's still going to take Lawrence. Lawrence is going at 1. It's not even a debate. End of story. Let's move on.
I actually think Justin Fields is going first because I think he's a better all-round player, even though Ohio State doesn't have a great reputation for quarterbacks. What about you, Ivan? Who are you thinking? Justin Fields, Justin Lawrence?
No, I agree with Freddie. I don't think Lawrence has had a particularly great season this season. He hasn't quite lived up to what he would have wanted going into the draft, but it's a bit like Trask at Florida. Trask had a great season, he's reset lots of records, but he's not going to be in the first round because he's had a one season. The same with Fields. He's had one very good season, but I don't think anyone is going to risk a very high pick on him. Certainly not number one, based on one season. Whereas Lawrence has had a number of good seasons and has done well. So I think it's going to be Lawrence all the way.
That's Kyle Trash to you.
I like
Scott,
the Gators. Yeah.
Well,
Scott, Justin Fields or Justin Lawrence?
I mean, I think the Jags tweeted out when they secured the first pick after the Jets won that second game, Lawrence 21 or whatever the draft number was on their Twitter page. So, and that could always be maybe, subterfuge, just try to get somebody distracted. I don't think there's any way they're going to trade out with needing a quarterback. I just think the Justin Fields is this recency bias that these people get. And Freddie kind of pointed to that when he was talking about it. Someone has a much longer track record, but then somebody comes along and gets hot for the last 3 or 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And all of a sudden, what everybody been saying for 3 years was wrong. And this is the guy now. I mean, I think you kind of see that with, I see a lot of people are jumping, on the Bills here, and the Chiefs have won some close games and they've looked hot the last 4 or 5 weeks. But when you look at the whole season, I mean, the Chiefs were the best team. So don't lose sight, of the big picture just because maybe the last couple scenes in the movie looked a little bit different. I think Lawrence is the safer pick. I think he has the higher upside, and I think that's who you're going to see number one.
It's interesting you say that, because I'm going on my reasoning for Fields is going on that Netflix series, QB1. I don't know if anyone's seen that. I watched the second series where they had Fields and those other two that I don't even think made the NFL, to be honest. I haven't looked. And to me, Fields was head and shoulders. Yes, I know it's high school going into the college and stuff. Lawrence needs a haircut, big style, because if I was his mother, I'd be saying, get a haircut, you
those damn hippies.
Harrison. Exactly. Harrison, what's your feelings? Fields, Lawrence.
First of all, I'd love to see the Jags, absolutely mess up this and take a D tackle or something random. That would be just great for the neutral.
That's the Niners are going to do that with the 13th overall. Trust me.
Harrison, the Jags are not the Jets.
Yeah. But I think I'm in your camp, Nick. Randomly, I'm quite a big Ohio State fan, so I've seen a lot of Fields and what he's done over the year. I think Trevor Lawrence will get it, but me personally, I would take Fields over Lawrence. That's just because, I mean, he's not going to come to the Colts. We can't draft that high up, but he would fit our system better. I think the Jags need more of a Lawrence, so that's why they'll take him. I don't think it's an argument of better quarterbacks. I think Trevor Lawrence fits their system.
That's interesting as well. And I think Justin Fields is an all-round better person from what I've seen. I don't know. Carl, you are quite high on this college stuff, and I know you track it. So what do you think?
Lawrence is going to go to Jacksonville, no question. There is only one sliver of hope I will give Justin Fields. And I'm very surprised, actually, we have done a prediction for the college final between the Alabama Crimson Tide and Ohio State. Because if Justin Fields puts up that sort of performance like he done against Clemson at the Tide, his stock goes through the roof. And that's the only way I will see Fields going number one. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence goes number one. I did see something on ESPN, and they did Todd McShay's 1.0 draft. He's got Justin Fields going at number 15 to us. And I was like, that is bollocks. That is not going to happen.
Unless he falls.
I'm surprised. Actually, I'm surprised, Carl, with that you didn't keel over and die. Because if he falls that low, fucking hell.
There's more chance of me being picked at 15.
I'll say this now. Fields will not fall below the 10 picks. He will not fall below the 10 picks.
Can I just say, if he does, I am the starting quarterback for the Pats next year because I've got more fucking chance than Justin Fields falling to you. Like, I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
Great.
There's no way.
Great. I'm going to have an aneurysm next season then. Fuck's sake.
But it's great, you see, because the difference between me and Justin Fields is I can hold my alcohol and still play pissed, where he probably would. But if anyone thinks that he's falling that, there's no way he's falling that low, John, right?
Fuck no, man. That would be that for that to happen, that would mean that 5 picks, the first through 5 picks would be total fucking doozies. I mean, that means that everyone would obviously do the complete opposite that would be logical for them. I mean, if Carl gets Justin Fields at 15, well, I mean, shit. Carl, play the fucking lottery. Play the fucking lottery, bro.
Let's just cut the fucking season off, man.
That would be a fucking nightmare for all of us picking 1 through 14. Let's be honest. Okay, look, I'm a fucking Buckeyes fan, so there's some silver lining in all this playoff shit. My team sucks, and they're sitting at home watching this shit from afar. But I get a Buckeyes opportunity at Alabama, and I'm fucking excited. So we don't. Dion, what's cracking, brother? I've talked to Dion about this before, and we do not produce quarterbacks. And I know that narrative is fucking tiresome, and people hear that a lot, but we don't. We don't produce. I mean, Herb Street was the last quarterback, I think, that had any opportunity, okay? Now, look. That doesn't mean that the Buckeyes don't have an opportunity of producing a quarterback somewhere in their fucking history, because they have to. If BYU can produce Steve Young and this fucking Messiah, fucking Zach, Efron, or whatever the fuck his name is, good for him, right? Okay, but let's be honest, okay? Ohio State could potentially upset Alabama. And if you're right, Carl, and that puts his draft stock through the roof, it doesn't essentially make him a transitional quarterback in the NFL because, well, frankly, I mean, Justin Fields is 3 inches shorter than Trevor Lawrence. And look, the NFL thrives off of giants. I don't give a damn what you could do. I don't care if you could hit the broadside of a fucking barn. If you're 6'6" and you have big hands and you could throw the fucking football, they're like, oh yeah, he's great. And he might be great. Or that girly ass haircut could potentially make him look like nothing but, some kind of hippie on the football field. And if he's a bust, then what? What? Trevor Lawrence becomes. I don't like quarterbacks going to shitty teams in the draft. I don't like it. Inevitably, look at Joe Burrow. Look at this. Look at how his story ends, right? I mean, dude gets his legs chopped off because, frankly, he's playing behind a shitty O-line. So, who's to say that Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be running around like, a baboon trying to avoid the hit? I don't like it. I think Trevor Lawrence, obviously goes – I think Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1, obviously, overall. He's got about 11 or so more starts than Justin Fields. And, their stats are very similar, fellas. I mean, don't take it out. Don't take it for gospel, but, somebody might take Justin Fields just to see, where they can go with him. He brings something to the table. I mean, we can't discredit him. He's not going to fall to Carl at 15. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
No,
Carl,
he ain't going to
like that, but
he ain't
that's crazy.
Our best option for quarterback where we sit is probably Mac Jones out of Alabama. He's probably the one that we could pick up at 15. But even that, I'm a little bit worried about because that's only his first year.
John,
we got another Joe Burrow type of scenario where he played one good year and all of a sudden now he's he got injured in Cincinnati, so we don't know.
John, you said something I hear a lot of people say about Ohio State, and they don't produce quarterbacks, right?
Right.
But they have all these great college players in their system, but once they get to the NFL, it just doesn't work. People said the same thing about Texas Tech until Patrick Mahomes. So I don't know. I try not to buy into that. You just look at the talent. Look at the talent. Look at the player. Look and see what the attributes are. He looks really good. I mean, he looks great. He looks like he's got everything you need to be a quality.
I'm
NFL
thrilled to
star.
have him. I'm glad to have him. He's the reason why we're in this. But you're right. I mean, coaching. Who was Patrick Mahomes' coach? Wasn't it
Kingsbury, the guy that's at
Kingsbury
Arizona now?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Right. Look at that. I mean, ultimately, it comes with who your head coach is in the NFL, and if they can tap into your talents and really make you. And obviously,
Yes, but Cliff Kingsbury is getting exposed for what he's doing in Arizona right now, because that shit what he did at Texas Tech, it doesn't work in the NFL as a coach.
Right. I agree.
Can I just quickly say, I thought Ivan was massaging his wife's hair.
Oh.
I thought it was his wife who'd come in to say hello, but it isn't. Look at that. What a great mophead. Right, we're going to close out now. Give me one shock from this slate of games on Wildcard weekend, Freddie. What is your one shock?
Nick will praise the Steelers.
Piss off. That's never going to happen. I'm talking teams, man. Teams.
Legitimately.
Who's going to shock someone?
I mean, I agree with what John and Carl and others have said. I think we need to focus a bit more on the college game on Monday night, because it's going to be 3 straight late nights for me this week, and I'll definitely be watching. I'm an LSU fan, so it's a bit rubbish this year, but I'd like to see Ohio State finally derail the Nick Saban train. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Ohio State to beat Bama.
Okay, what's your shock out of the college and the wildcard weekend? Ivan, what are you going for?
Right, so Steelers' worst defeat in history is 51-0, I think, to the Browns. So my shot this weekend is for the Browns to win 55-0.
Mate, I think you should get on to Pete on Twitter to have maybe a bet, or even he might even take a bet. Who knows? Scott, what is your shock this week with the bowl game or the wild card? What's your shock?
Well, first of all, I don't know I can't remember now who it was that brought up this Alabama-Ohio State game, but how do you root for either of those teams? That'd be like a Duke-Kentucky college basketball national championship game. Get out of here with that shit. Nobody cares except for those two fan bases. My shock for the week, I think the Bills are in for a tougher game than people realize. I think they've been blowing out teams here, and the competition hasn't been great. And I think Jonathan Taylor and that run game, man, I'm telling you, that could be bad news for the Bills. That was the last thing they wanted to see, was something like that. So I think I'm not calling for the upset, but I think it's going to be a closer game than pretty much everybody thinks it's going to be. And I give the Colts a decent chance to win as well.
There you go, Harrison. That leads directly onto you. There's some hope for you and your shitty wallpaper. Talk to me.
Do it.
Wallpaper, but at least I'm inside and warm. Not in my garage.
I'm not. But go ahead.
Anyway, I've got one shock for the wild card, and that's obviously the Colts. No one's picked us to win. No one. So I've got to go with the Colts. And then in the bowl game, I've got to go with Ohio State. You know, ever since Malik Hooker came out of the draft, I'm a big OH fan. So let's go Ohio State. Guys.
Carl, it's been a shit season for the hooded one and Cam Newton. Only threw to 8 touchdowns, apparently. So,
Rush for
I do
12
love
though, but
rubbing it.
that's on his
I
own.
love rubbing it in against the Patriots. But what is your shock game? Is it going to be something in the wild card, or is it going to be the bowl game? What do you think?
I don't see a shock in the bowl game. Guy on the wild cards. I think the real big shock which could come out of all of this would be the Bears turning over the Saints. That'll be the biggest. It's either that or Washington beating the Bucs. It's one of those two for me personally. But in the bowl game, I am going Roll Tide.
God damn it, Carl.
John,
go on.
Now you will get your chance to obviously put Carl down. But
here's the thing, Nick. I mean,
what are you thinking? What are you thinking, John?
The biggest shock for me would be if the Washington football team takes out Tom Brady. And I also mean physically. If my alumni, my man Chase Young destroys him physically, he could potentially take him out of the game. Okay, so he's a quarterback killer, man. So I'm looking. I think the biggest shock would be the Washington football team beating the Bucs. I see where you're coming from with the Bears, but I think we know that that's not going to happen. I think the biggest shock would be Tom Brady getting knocked out of the playoffs his first year with a new team. I think that would be pretty shocking.
Regarding of Chase Young, though, John, what he says, saying that he wants Tom Brady. Like he has been given it a little bit. Defensive Rookie of the Year he should get, and that's no question shadow of a doubt. However, there is a saying: if you come at the king, you better not miss.
That's true. That's true. But he's good, Carl.
Oh no, Chase Young. There was an argument that Chase Young should have been drafted first overall in this year's draft, going in. Not if you get what I mean. Yeah, this year's draft.
Yeah, I follow you. I mean, listen, if he's going to make those statements, there's no doubt he's not coming for him, and he's coming for him, man. I mean, that's all there is to it. That's going to be kind of a pretty sweet matchup. But at the end of the day, right now, all I got are my Buckeyes, and congratulations to all of the respective teams that made the playoffs. Ivan, if the Browns knock off the Steelers, you better believe out here in Ohio, man, there's going to be some intensity, man. Buckeyes are going to be building off of that. They need that. That would be incredible because literally they've been the only thing holding the
Steelers won't live it down. If the Browns win this one, Steelers.
There you go. There goes John's dog by the set. Is that John's dog who's
No, it's my dog. Probably.
Oh, it's listen, we are going to finish. It's been a great show. Everyone has, even Ivan's dog has stepped in. It's going to be a great weekend here in the UK and over in the States. 43 minutes till the first game starts. I just hope for some good close games. I don't want any blowouts. Good luck to Cleveland. I want them to win. I want them to absolutely wax Steelers. Yeah, there you go. See, I want them to wax the Steelers.
Howling.
Yeah, the dog is howling. It's going to be a great game, and every game this week is going to be good. And we will progress here on the Shank Club to the next game, which is the divisional games. John, please take care. I hope you're well. I hope all your family are well. You've been through some shit. 2021, let's move on. Scott, as ever, reach for the lasers. You saw that light show last night with my man doing the DJing. Carl, as ever, you are the fluffer. If you don't know what a fluffer is,
I know what a fluffer is. All right.
Just put in porn fluffer, and you'll get Carl. Ivan, it doesn't get any bigger than it for you, right? It does not get any bigger for you. Freddie, as ever, I love you because you are the voice of reason, but you know you're going to take some shit. And you take some shit on this show. Unfortunately, George Michael had to knob off because he had to do some cottaging in some toilet somewhere. And it's been great. It's the Wildcard weekend. Let's all get together next weekend. Let's see who's still in, who's out, whatever. But for every team that's in this week, best of luck. But as long as it's not the Sea Chickens or the Rams or that, who cares? Great show, guys. Thank you very much. Freddie, give me your last comment on the game.
Go Steelers.
Ivan?
Let's bark, dogs of war.
Awesome. John?
Shit, congratulations to all you guys. Glad for all of you. I want to say, Scott, God damn it, brother. It's always a pleasure to see you, man. I tell you this every time I see you, man. I can't stand the Chiefs, man, but I love you, man. You're a hell of a guy. Only Chiefs fan I know, only Chiefs fan I like. Good luck to everybody.
John, I've said that all along because Scott and I went head-to-head with Kittle versus Kelsey. Obviously, this year's been different because Kelsey has balled out and unfortunately Kittle hasn't been in the game. But to be fair, Scott, as smug as he is, he's been fair. So, Scott.
He has been. He's been a hell of a guy. Team player, man.
Scott, you are the Shank Club NFL hit club resident with the dueling banjos, etc. Because I know you like a bit of country. I can't help it. Sorry.
Hey, man.
Carl.
Hey, if it sounds good, I like it.
Did you watch some of that live stream I sent you last night?
Yeah, I did. I caught some of it. It was good, man. I liked it. Yeah, that was the light show.
There you go. A bit of
music was good too.
Disco music, you know?
Yeah.
Carl, we're going to get out of here. What is your final statement?
Good luck to all the teams in Wildcard weekend. Good luck to Alabama and Ohio State in the college championship game. I'll be on Twitter most of the night. I'll be doing a little halftime show and a full-time show of all of the games. It'll be live on Twitter, so keep an eye out for that.
Carl, we're coming for it.
I will say I will be on Twitter tonight. I'm fucking freezing. I've got to go in. I'm fucked. Right. Tonight, all those games, Sunday, all those games. Let the best teams win. The Shank Club NFL will still be back, even if I am freezing. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Wear your masks. Stay a safe distance. COVID, we are coming for you somehow. I don't know how, but we're coming for you. This is the Shank Club NFL. We are definitely out of here. Peace.
Cheers, guys.
Nice one, Ivan. Nice one, Carl. Carl, you're the last one.
Yep. See you there, Nick.
I'm fucked. I've got really bad toothache. I can't speak.
Well, at least you're in the cold. The cold stops toothache.
No, it doesn't. Seriously.
Oh.
It's been worse out here because I've had Corsadol. I've had fucking everything you can think of, whiskey, vodka, whatever, and I'm fucked.
Try brandy. I would say brandy, but it's got too much sugar in. I would say brandy. That's got too much sugar.
Yeah, no, too much. I thank you for. Hang on.